Welcome to our draft review for Season 7. We actually have this split into two pools this time, so I got a couple people who aren't in Pool 1 to help me review. I have our friend Glist, a.k.a. Trey. And then I have, of course, our good friend Connix, a.k.a. Connor.
Hello.
And we're going to run through the first 8 teams here. So I know, Connor, you're kind of a casual observer this time around. You have another league you're focusing on, so you get to have kind of a laid back kind of look at these. You don't have to have any kind of sweat or anything going on.
I do.
But anyways, we have our pool 1 first seed. We have the Charlotte Zards, and of course they drafted Iron Valiant as their round 1, and then I think more surprisingly is somehow Tornadus Therian came all the way back around, and according to our singles expert Dave, that shouldn't have happened. But he's made it. He's made it a Terra Captain. I haven't really marked that here, but I'll comment those as we go. Made a Terra Captain, so I mean, obviously he gets a lot of utility. Gets Regenerator, Knockoff, U-Turn, a pretty big move pool. One thing I really don't like about this mon is like its non-Terra stabs are 80% accurate at best. I guess you could have like Air Slash, but then like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so much weaker, especially in singles.
Let's see. The next we have Petrarunt. So I'm going to drive this first one. Connex used to this system last time, but I'll let everybody kind of just like take one and drive to start, and then we'll all kind of like chime in after the fact. But next we have Petrarunt. So you get, I'm pretty certain it has. Actually, does it have toxic spikes? I don't know.
No. Actually, maybe the thing is wrong.
Well, I was about to say ignore this thing because again, this is like Nat Dex, but. I guess he's not in any other generation, so I guess it would show up here if he had it.
It does not get toxic spikes.
All right.
Nope.
Appreciate
I just
it.
looked too.
But definitely a very defensive mon, and you get a spin blocker with it, parting shot. As you see, he's got tons of different ways to just kind of U-turn, parting shot, flip turn, switch initiative. That's what I'm looking for.
2 regenerators as well is huge for that.
Oh, it's true. He does that. I didn't even think about that. And both of them have U-turn. So yeah. Then next we have Landorus, just as I guess he already had flying type, and I guess I don't know what point in the draft he got Landorus. I guess I could flash that on the screen real quick. But he let's see, Landorus was his round 4 pickup. So it was the first flying type he picked up, and I think this is a mon he's used several times in the past. At the very least, I feel like he had a team before that had 2 of the genies on it. But certainly,
he had double genie in one of our VGC seasons for sure.
Yeah, which that could make a little bit more sense because you can set up like rain with like Tornadus, and then do your Searing and your Bleak Winds for 100% accuracy, right? Then you have his 2 hazard removers. So he has Scizor with Defog and Cyclozar with Rapid Spin. Scizor, an amazing mon. I'm pretty sure that's another one he's had before. You get some nice, strong priority. A lot of times when I had it, I just threw a band on it, and it just did numbers. It's a great mon, slow pivot. Get your Iron Valiant in there, which I think is probably it's pretty fast. Or no, excuse me, Cyclozar is pretty fast. The
121.
But Swampert also has slow switch initiative, and technically you could run like a lagging tail set on Rotomo and then trick that onto something to make sure you get the slow pivots. But then I've already talked enough about Cyclozar, I think, for what he is. Swampert, I don't know what that was 100% for. Maybe he needed another rocker outside. Yeah, because you don't really want your Landers to have to run rocks unless you're like Therian. So I can see that. Maybe just wanted somebody else to have rocks. We noticed he didn't really pick up any other hazards, no spikes, no webs.
That's what I was going to comment on, yeah. He's got one of the best spin blockers in the game with Petrarunt. And like, what is that? Probably the second best spin blocker after Goldengo.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have anything other than rocks to keep up. But the Swampert actually really do like it as a defensive switch for the Tornadus. They synergize quite well with the Swampert. It's weak to grass. Tornadus resists that. Tornadus is weak to electric, and Swampert resists that, or is immune to that. So that's really nice between the two of them. Unfortunately, Swampert does not really get healing. The Milotic does, so that like sort of works there too. So, but then that's also weak to electric. So I don't know.
Yeah, and then
but I do. Yeah.
Yeah, no wish support here either, so you're not getting any outside healing. And then like you said, the melodic does have recover, so she can do that. I'm actually not really familiar with melodic got scald back, right?
I think so.
Okay, so that's a feather in her cap.
Yes, it did.
And then any Rotom's almost always a good Rotom. In fact, Ghost Rotom's actually pretty good right now because it's a spin blocker, which has become even more prevalent, according to Dave. But you get your Will-O-Wisps, your Thunder Waves, you get Trick, you get Volt Switch, of course. Rotom's a great mon. I'll never turn those up at a Rotom. And then one of Ty's tried and trues. He's got Typhlosion on there, and honestly, they were such a value pick. I think this one was like 2 points
For 2 points,
Right,
yeah, that's really good.
ridiculous, right? And I
And
don't.
plus, it's so cheap that he can make it a Terra
Well,
Captain as well.
I was about
with
to
no
say.
real downside.
Yep. He had enough points to do it. So his other 2 Terra Captains were Melodic and Typhlosion. So definitely.
Or Torn as well, yeah. In addition to the Torn.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's the brief overview. We can kind of start breaking it down a little bit more here, but no flying checks. That seems to be somewhat of a weakness. I mean, there's not a ton of flying offense out there, but if you have it, you certainly bring it against this team. You'll probably have Scizor every week, so there's something for Psychic. And
So for me, since I'm not here, and also the audience at home who may not be playing, how does the Terra Captain system work? You can Terra into any type, is that correct? But you have to declare it like in the match chat.
well, so
Is that how that works?
yeah, we have the Terra preview that they implemented last season. So we're going to use that again this season. There are a few mons that are banned from Terra, like Iron Valiant, for example. But large and by, everybody can Terra any Terra you want. Just you do Terra preview, so you know what it is. No crazy like surprises. Like, oh god. Like,
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way to do it if you're gonna have open Terra. So.
Yeah. I definitely like the flexibility of it. Because I was gonna say when I had Rotom in, I think it was season 3 maybe. I loved Terra Captain Rotom because it's just so fun with Levitate.
Yep.
But that's back when you had to keep one of your base types as a Terra. So Electric with Levitate is already good. But then you could Terra into 2 other types as well.
Steel,
so I was gonna say Rotom,
fire, or poison. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say Rotom could have been a good Terra Captain candidate over the Milotic, but it's not so important now that you're not forced to have Electric as one of your types.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned he has one of the best spin blockers in the game, and we see he has knockoff in spades, right? So I mean, you're going to get rid of those heavy duties. So as you mentioned, I think picking up a good spiker somewhere in here, or even a decent spiker somewhere in here, might.
Yeah,
I'd
agree.
He can keep those hazards off the field. He gets rid of those boots. He's able to freely switch all over the place. He's got 2. Well, I guess he's got defog, right? So you don't want to do that if you're stacking hazards, but you do have the Cyclozar. So I guess it really depends on your opponent that week. But he really could get away with some stacking for sure.
I agree, yeah. I don't know what's available still that has spikes, though. There's probably something.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't think spikes is like that rare, but I could be wrong. I've never done a draft and be like, oh no, I can't find a good spikes user. Like,
Yeah. I wonder if Quagsire is still around.
Oh, yeah.
Because Quagsire could be a swap for Swampert, maybe, because that also has the recovery. Same typing, it has recovery. Unaware is really nice for setup sweepers, and it could spikes as well. I think it gets toxic spikes too.
yeah. No, I think that's a fantastic pickup.
Quagsire's good. Another good shout out is Ting Lu is actually still on the board if he really does want to dedicate to this.
True. A lot of points, but you could swap the Lando, I guess. But
it is a lot of points. I think. Let me check to see how much he has to spare, if any.
I could flip that back up on the screen here. He's got no points.
He has
left.
0 points right now,
0
so you have to
points.
switch something up equal.
I don't know what let's see, Tinglu should be right here. He's 16, so you'd have to find the points. Now somewhere with the Quagsire, you might could make that happen. I think Quagsire's pretty cheap.
Yeah, you could swap if you're swapping Swampert, you get net 5 gain.
Yeah, Quagsire's only 4, so yeah. So yeah, you could definitely do that. I know,
but then you don't really. Then you have triple grounds. I don't know if you'd want Tinglu and. I guess you could switch the
Lando.
Landorus. Wait,
Yeah.
how much was Tinglu?
16,
Tinglu's 16, Lando's 14, so you need the 2 points and you
That's
get it
actually
easily.
doable. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, the Tinglu was initially drafted. MSU Chiyu had picked it up, so I'd maybe, and they picked it pretty early too. I think it was like around 3 or 2 pick. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that'd be an interesting pickup for him. And I mean, he's got bulk, so I mean, he doesn't necessarily need the bulk factor, but that is a lot of hazards. But it is bulk with different types. His bulk right now is poison, ghost, flying. Scizor can be bulky if you want it to be. So yeah, I mean, in fact, he doesn't even have a dark type here, does he?
It
Um,
sure doesn't.
so that would be
Not yet.
yeah, that'd be not yet. That could be a very helpful pickup though, because as of right now, just the Cyclozars, the switch into ghost moves. Um, I
That's
mean,
true because when you have defensive switches like Petulant, you want to have stuff that helps deal with their weaknesses because you assume Petulant can deal with just any physical attacker,
hmm
but then you need to watch out about ground types. He's got covered, which is good. I think that's probably why he picked up 2 flying types and a Levitator to deal with the ground types that threaten the Petulant. Um, Actually, Psychic looks like a little bit of a problem too. Aside from the Scizor, he doesn't have a resist for that.
yeah,
But then, like you said, no, Ghost is pretty much unresisted aside from Cyclozar.
yep. Which AV Cyclozar is pretty. I think that's a pretty common build for it. So.
Yeah, yeah, I love that guy. He's one of my favorites.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Captain of the Carolina Beach Cyclozar over here. Any
I'll say one thing.
yeah, what you got?
Uh, I am somewhat worried about this team's lack of removal when it comes to Stealth Rocks,
hmm
especially when you pair. So this team, special offensively outside of Iron Valiant, struggles a little bit into specifically Stealth Rocks because most of your late game cleaners and or sweepers, as in like Typhlosion, Tornadus, they are very weak to Stealth Rocks. Even if they have boots, of course, everyone's packing knockoff.
hmm
I didn't even realize Tornadus doesn't have defog anymore. I thought it would
does
still have
not.
that.
Yeah,
Nope,
so this
Yeah.
sheet makes it look like he has a lot more than he does. It's only Cyclozar and Scizor that has
Yeah.
removal.
Oh, does Scizor have it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Scizor net neutral to Stealth Rocks as well. So
Yeah.
it's a little scary of a situation because if you get stuck in this momentum game that your team can somewhat play with your Swampert, Flip Turn, your Volt Switch, you have a lot of options for momentum,
hmm
but it's going to be hard to take advantage of them without a way to remove hazards on your side of the field.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, and Cyclozar does have Regenerator, but he's not. He doesn't have the best bulk. Even if you give him Assault Vest, he's only got 65 special defense, so
Mhm.
he might not stick around too long.
And also the Torn likes to run AV, but it just if you have so little removal, you got to run boots on it, so that hinders its bulk as well.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe hazards. Again, we have the Scizor with defog, so maybe he's just looking to blanket remove hazards and is not looking to stack them so high. But I mean, and that's fine. It's just that when your sweepers come in later, they have a little bit more work they have to do, or you have to do some other chips before you can kind of get away with a valiant cleanup or something. So,
Mhm.
but overall, I think a solid team. Any other closing remarks for this team?
Not from me.
I think that's it for me as well.
All right. Trey, why don't you start us off on the Grift and Gulpin here?
All right. So, I don't think anyone is too terribly surprised that this first pick, Great Tusk, went as early as it did. In draft, it's just so easy. You really don't have to use your brain at all to use this Pokemon to its fullest potential. So I think Great Tusk, going back, it's one of the best ways to remove hazards. It stacks hazard, it's your wall, it's everything. It's all the roll compression you need.
It really is. It could be a sweeper too.
It's just everything. Speaking of kind of doing everything, Greninja, incredibly versatile Pokemon. Let me verify that it does still get spikes.
It does.
Generate.
It gets both.
Yeah, and toxic spikes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colin was planning on it, but he didn't expect Meowscarada to fall to him, so he just got that instead.
Speaking of spikes, but yeah, Greninja, incredibly lethal if you run any form of offensive set. Great for setting up hazards. Great pivot. Great late game cleaner. Great revenge killer with Water Shuriken. It really does do it all.
Is Battle Bond legal in this?
Yes,
By the way,
yes.
It doesn't show it on the sheet. Okay, Yeah.
It sure
Yep.
is.
So he's got 3 great abilities. Now, if you do the spike set like Trey was talking about, you run like a focus sash. You can run torrent. Obviously, you can run the life orb, protein type shenanigans, or if you just want to try to pick something off and get the battle bond rolling it towards the end of a match, that's fair game.
Yeah, that's something I played against in Nat Dex. Week 1, I played against Dave with Greninja, and that guy is so scary because like it normally if something's weakened, you can just sack to it and then bring in something later on and revenge kill it. But once he gets that +1 speed, like not even a scarf for revenge kills it. You'd have to have priority, which is just so scary.
Absolutely.
All right, you can continue.
Overall terrifying Pokemon. Wrapping up sort of the weaknesses that Great Tusk Greninja can have with having to deal with certain grass types. Let's pretend he didn't get Ogerpon and that there's not more on the board. Zapdos does a really good job at covering a lot of the weaknesses that Great Tusk and Greninja have, both in terms of being a strong wall and just covering them offensively. Zapdos, between coverage moves and being able to like Thunder Wave pivot off of a ton of Pokemon that threaten these two, it's a really reliable switch in that does a lot for this team defensively. Which I do really enjoy this pick from the Grifting Bullpen here.
As well as static to just punish any physical attackers. Just swing in for whatever into anything. You switch that guy in, resist the hit, 30% chance to just cripple the Pokemon for the rest of the game. It's really good, especially because Heal Bell and Aromatherapy are like not on anything except Chimecho now or something like that. Those moves have just been Thanos snapped out of existence.
Yeah.
Blissey and Chimecho.
Yeah, that's an incredibly fun fact. Is Dexit getting rid of Aromatherapy of all moves is crazy. Speaking of those aforementioned grass types, we have Ogerpon here. And did he make this one? He did. This a
he did.
Yep.
Incredibly potent late game threat. It's especially considering his next draft pick, Heatran.
Also a Terra Captain.
Also a Terra Captain. This Pokemon, especially paired with Great Tusk and Greninja coverage, is going to just win games right off the bat. There are going to be times where he does a really good job of just chipping everything down, and then you bring in Terra Ogerpon, and if they don't have Ice Shard or something Choice Scarfed, they just kind of lose. It poses
even then the Choice Scarf would have to be higher than base 110 speed, which is not a lot of Pokemon.
And
not a lot of Pokemon.
And if it's a Pokemon trying to set up with like Dragon Dance and their speed's below 110, then you can come in and you go, hey, keep doing that move. I like that a lot. Keep doing that. Give a nice speed boost Encore. So.
Encore is very, very scary as well. On top of being this like really strong offensive cleaner for this team, it also just has every move under the sun for some godforsaken reason. It gets spikes, it gets U-turn, it gets Encore like we mentioned.
Play rough, stomping tantrum.
It gets everything. It can be a stall breaker, it can be a fast pivot, it can be a cleaner. It's a lot for this team.
Superpower as well.
No, I'm not as big a fan of that one, but I mean, fighting coverage is fighting coverage, so we take it. But I think it also has Brick Break, which is a little bit more utility on screen-like teams. So.
Very true, and screens are really, really good this format as well. So that is a really good thing to keep in the back of his mind. Next up, we have the one, the only Heatran, his other Terra Captain, as we mentioned. So he has a lot of options in order to make this thing just kind of live forever. I don't think he'll need Flash Fire, honestly, as much, considering the other defensive parts of this team. So you're really going to have to watch out for Flame Body against this. The coverage it provides in tandem with Zapdos is just a very strong core for this team.
Yeah, it's if you do want to do Flash Fire, I mean, being a grass or a bug Terra type and not having to worry about getting toasted yourself, it's always a fun time.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm a big fan of Terra Captains with ability immunities. It's really cool. And it's especially good when it's like a good Pokemon. Like I ran Lantern in season 3 because I'm like, oh, two immunity abilities on a Terra Captain sounds like awesome. And it was like crazy good in like the specific weeks where they had a few water type Pokemon or a few electric type Pokemon. But this guy is just like an actually like really solid Pokemon, and the ability to Terra him is just going to make it that much better. And then like basically the same thing we said about the Zapdos with the Flame Body. If you run that, just a 30% chance to cripple some physical attacker, which is actually like probably a little bit more relevant than static as well, because if they're hitting you with a physical contact attack, they're a physical attacker, chances are, and then that just removes that Pokemon from something you have to consider for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Absolutely. Another really good thing to point out here is that unlike something like Great Tusk, uh, and even more so than Zapdos, this thing is bulky on both sides of the spectrum. So that plus his Terra, he really can adapt this thing to whatever matchup he needs to. So it's going to be a very relevant threat.
Yeah, I think what regardless if it's singles or doubles, Heatran's always a terrifying Pokemon to have to stare down.
Another thing that's interesting about Terra Captain Heatran is that, like in VGC, a lot of players don't like to run Terra Blast because, like, if you're running that, you have to commit your Terra. But in a format like this, where you only have one of two options that you're gonna Terra,
Mm-hmm.
Terra Blast is a lot less opportunity cost on it. So you could actually run like a Terra Grass, Terra Blast set. I mean, I guess you could also do Power Herb, Solar Beam, but you're not going to do that probably because it takes your item with a lot less opportunity cost than if you were to run Terra Blast otherwise. Not that Heatran necessarily needs it, but that's just something to keep in mind for a lot of these Terra Pokemon.
Absolutely. Next up, we have one of my favorite additions to the new games, Sinistra. This Pokemon is quite interesting. It's a really strong spin blocker for his team, which is something that you very much want with how hazard focused a lot of this Pokemon choice is. Having Sinistra, which is a great spin blocker, is going to be incredibly beneficial. It is a very strong defensive wall while not sacrificing offensive power through its typing. Something like just a bulky water oftentimes can fall flat when it needs to in terms of offensive power. But this thing with base 121 special attack and Grass and Ghost providing some pretty nice coverage can both act as a offensive threat when it gets to just like pretend that it's not.
Yeah,
Mhm.
throw the calm minds down.
Yeah, and like we talked about with the Pecharunt, just a spin block. Basically, spin blockers that have recovery are just inherently really good. This guy is probably the most broken recovery move, maybe of all time in Strength Sap.
Yeah.
It just does not die
Well, and,
if there's physical attackers on the board.
and its primary, its whatever signature move is also a healing move for it.
Mm-hmm.
Matcha Gotcha. It can burn too,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just fantastic. But now I guess it can miss. But I mean, it's like 90, 95, something like that. So
It's 90.
only misses 50% of the time, right? So, but something I'll say since we've gotten up to this point is, and it kind of goes back to that Heatran, is this team so far has a lot of ice weaknesses, and so if you're going to be thinking about tearing Heatran that week, you need to really kind of think about
that's
like,
true.
is my opponent capable of bringing out ice type? Should I hold off on my Terra? Because if you tear out of that nice typing, then your opponent kind of can just click the ice beam button.
Yeah, that is your ice resist. I guess you'd have the Arcanine, which is coming up to help
But you're
as
probably
well.
not bringing like 4 times ground weaknesses to the same game, unless
That's
the
true.
matchup made sense for it. But
Because they're both 4 times ground and also just have a lot of the same weaknesses in, a 2 times water, 2 times fighting. They are very similar,
well, 4
actually.
times water actually on the other side there. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, 2 times for one of them, four
yeah,
for the other
yep,
one. Yeah.
yep, yep.
Yeah, that's a really good point with the ground type, and it does segue us nicely into Arcanine. This thing is terrifying. You give it any offensive item, and it is an incredibly strong wall breaker offensively, which this team does benefit from. There are a lot of. There's just so many types that fire rock covers offensively,
Mhm.
and this thing, both between just clicking Rockhead, allowing you to just ignorantly like head smash all you want, or just using Intimidate to force out a switch from a physical threat and then chunking a wall for about 50% or more. This thing is incredibly powerful. Disgusting Pokemon. Only scary thing is that 4x weakness to ground.
Both of them.
With the Heatran as well. Yeah.
And water.
Yeah, and
And the 20%
Surely
chance to miss your rock
Surely
head, right?
overbonded.
Or not rock head,
Yeah.
but what's it called? Head smash.
Mm-hmm.
But when
It's
that,
80%
well,
accurate.
boy, when that move
Same
hits,
as Stone Edge.
When that
Yeah.
move hits, oh my,
salute.
it's something. Good night. Next up is a
Colin
Ill
mod.
Pheasantipity. This is a Colin mod. I was trying to find the nice way.
I guess
to
it's also
say
a
it. This
Fred
is a
mod,
Colin mod.
but which is more relevant here because this is Fred's brother, and they were in the same room when this draft was happening. But
True, true. I've also drafted this Pokemon. Pheasantipity, just insane, especially defensive wall. It has the potential, especially in draft, to be a versatile setup sweeper as well. It has nasty plot. It has calm mind. It has a lot of bulk alongside it as well, and amazing typing with fairy poison, which we go back to that ground weakness with that. But uh, a lot of versatility between Toxic Chain just being what it is, and the ability to set up and wall at the same time. Very strong Pokemon. I will not be listening to Colin. I will not draft this thing again.
well, at the very least, it's a poison type, so it's always free cleanup for toxic spikes.
Mm-hmm.
True. Umbreon. This is, speaking of special walls and walls in general,
And
which
bargains.
this team
I know
has
this thing is
so
crazy cheap. That's like ridiculous. When I saw Umbreon for 3,
Threes, yeah, that's criminally cheap.
Yeah, I swear I saw 5 different people say they wanted Umbreon. Meanwhile, it went in round 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? Round 7. So I think people need to determine how much
How
actually
badly they
things.
want. Yeah, don't tell people
Yeah.
you want it, and then not be the one to get it. But
Right. Great move pool being from Gen 1. Great stats. The ability to have foul play is really, really nice, especially with since you got Great Tusk, which resists it. There are a lot of offensive threats on the board that just do not like foul play. So it's a nice one attack move to run on your otherwise stall oriented set. It provides Wish, which with how bulky this team is, having Wish is even crazier.
yeah, that's yeah.
and of course, there's always
Lastly,
slow baton pass too. I mean,
that's
Yeah.
true.
get those.
That's
little
what makes the Wish Pass like really good. Yeah, you can come in, wish, and then heal something essentially for free with how slow you are. Like especially Great Tusk is really good because that's like the one thing that like doesn't even hold Great Tusk back, but just makes it a little bit awkward. Is that it just doesn't have healing outside
Not
of
yeah.
if it's holding leftovers.
Yep.
But being able to Wish Pass to it, oh my god, that guy's never gonna die.
But yeah, I mean, depending on the week, you can also run yawn in case you're worried about someone setting up in your face, especially if it's on the special side. If foul play is not really doing the job. But yeah, no, the EVs are great. Like you mentioned earlier, I think they lost Heal Bell. That's about it. But I mean, well, I say the EVs are great. Some of them, unfortunately, are not so great. But in terms of this type of utility, you have Umbreon, you have Sylveon, you have Vaporeon, which all kind of do the same job in different ways, and they're all pretty solid and they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Next up, Scyther. This is more of an interesting one. The ability to have a fast U-turn. Granted, you're a little weak to rocks, but we'll live with that. Another Defogmon.
Well,
Probably
I don't think
where he's
Zapdos has defog in this. So
No,
I think
it doesn't. I looked.
I think this
Right,
is
right,
only
right.
other. So this is you have defog with Scyther and then Great Tusk, Rapid Spin. So it's like it kind of takes that pressure off of Great Tusk, right, to have to run Rapid Spin every week. But you're probably not bringing Scyther every week either. So I think that pressure is still on Great Tusk to have to run Rapid Spin most of the time. But
Absolutely. Another thing you're probably always bringing Tusk anyway, but especially in the matchups with knockoff, you really want Tusk because if Scyther eats a knockoff and your Defogger is 50% of its health to a Stealth Rocks,
yeah,
you get the defog one time.
Yeah.
And then it is dead.
If that, because you have to come in on a hit probably.
Well, and,
Yep.
and that's another problem. Is this is singles, right? So Scyther has to run heavy duties. You can't run Eviolite and get the extra bulk like you can in doubles.
Mm-hmm.
You can. You just have to hope Stealth Rock
Well,
never hits the
that's fair.
Yeah. Like if you had like 3 rapid spinners, then I'd be like, oh yeah, you can run Eviolite, but it's just the one, albeit probably the best one in the game, but it's not. He's not always going to find the opportunity to come in before Scyther could come out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Overall, I think it's a fairly strong team.
It's a
Yeah, I
beautiful
really like this team.
it's an
I was about
aesthetically
to say,
beautiful
yeah.
team. It's got a lot of mons I like on here. I like Great Tusk, Greninja, Zapdos, Ogerpon. I haven't got to try Sinistcha, but the Sinistcha looks cool. I love all the Scyther line, and I've used both Arcanines. So, I mean, I love a lot of Pokemon on this team, so I'm happy with it.
I do not envy the person who, and it's gonna be me because I'm saying this now. I don't envy the person that has to try and break through Zapdos, Great Tusk, Heatran, Sinistcha, Fezandipity, Umbreon. Like, this team is so bulky and so hard to take out.
Man, that Fezandipity is just hard to look at right in the middle of all these good looking mons. But
He just wants to be beautiful.
it wants to be.
Keyword wants to be.
Let's see. What are we missing? What do we have? We have a good amount of U-turn. Got plenty of hazards. We got some statuses. Tons of taunt. Got I think I'd say it's a good amount of knockup because you're gonna have Ogerpon and you're gonna have Great Tusk probably every week. So I mean
Typing
overall,
wise, we already talked about the ice weakness, but there's also a big rock weakness here, with the only rock resist being the Great Tusk, which is like quad resist. So it's a great resist.
yeah.
But aside from that, everything is either weak to or neutral to rock, which is a little bit scary.
If your opponent has a mon that has, well, I mean, even with 4 times resist, I was about to take a jab at Great Tusk's special defense, but I mean, 4 times resist Meteor Beam is he's probably taking that decently well.
Yeah. But then, and also, I mean, rock type attackers are usually physical. Like, you're not going to encounter too many special rock types. I think like Glimora is like the big one that comes to mind, but aside from that, nothing really does.
Side note:
Now there are Pokemon that can run rock type moves that aren't rock type.
do you guys think that Meteor Beam should be self-charging in Sandstorm?
That's a fun idea.
That is very fun.
But I don't think so. I don't think it makes the most sense. I think like gravity could be interesting because it's like kind of space, but
Yeah.
I don't know about Sandstorm.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like, Arcaludon's signature move, and you have Solar Beam, and like there's probably something else I'm not immediately thinking of, but
Well, here's a question: do you think they should buff Solar Beam so that it boosts your special attack as well?
I think Solar Beam definitely is overdue for a buff. But
yeah, it is. Yeah,
I'm kind
It's
of
crazy how-
driving the conversation in weird places here, but the
it is. Now that I'm thinking about it, it is weird that Electroshot has the upside of both of them, where it gets the accuracy of Solar Beam and the special attack boost of Meteor Beam. That move, and it can also charge in one turn where Meteor Beam can't without the power of that. That move is just crazy.
and you've got to have it 2 double seasons in a row.
Twice.
So people need to
Yep.
people need to stop letting that happen. I don't want a three-peat of that. If it gets down to that, I see you draft something like Kyogre, and I'm between you. I'm like, fine, I'll get Arcaludon. I'll do it myself. Anything else we want to touch
The crazy
on?
thing-
Oh, sorry.
Like both times I did it though, I'm like, you know what? If I don't get the Arch, I'll just get Tornadus, and that's like still really good. But
Yeah.
the Arch just fell to me both times, or not the first time, but the second time the Arch just fell to me.
Oh well. Spilled milk at this point.
I think I've said everything I want to say about this team. I do like it a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Connor, why don't you drive the New York Ninetales here?
All right. Oh yeah. So they're oriented different. So the first Pokemon here is Darkrai. That was not the first Pokemon
Well,
drafted.
yeah. So this is sorting by tier. So
By
if you want to
rank,
look at the
yeah.
draft order, I can flip that up real quick. But
Yeah. So I was just gonna mention that the first Pokemon picked was the Iron Treads, which was third pick overall, and I do agree with that. I think it's like we talk about how good Great Tusk is. Iron Treads is a little bit worse, but it also is a Steel type, which is just really nice resistance wise.
Yeah.
It has a quad resistance to Rock again, like the Great Tusk does, just because of the Steel ground. I feel like I'm a staunch advocate that every team should have a ground type and every team should have a Steel type. They're just both really good defensive typings. This one does both. Can set rocks, can rapid spin them away. And it's something common that I've seen in singles too is that they could do like a suicide lead with like Sash, and then you set rocks and then Steel Beam to just like guarantee that you go down. Nothing has to take a
Well,
hit.
and you can
They
also
also can't.
Cork Drive and get your speed up, so you like kind of go first. But Depends, yeah.
No, like I love this guy. This guy's one of my favorite guys. I don't play a ton of singles outside of the few leagues I've done here, but
Mhm.
I've had him in VGC like 4 times, and he feels so versatile. I've heard people say that he can only run like one set, which is, I mean, more so true in VGC where rocks and rapid spin aren't important. But even then, he's got crazy coverage like Mega Horn, Ice Spinner, Wild Charge, like just ones that you don't, or moves that you don't expect a
Volt
ground
switch
skill
for
type to
some
have access
reason,
to.
which is amazing to have.
Yeah, yeah, here, yeah. I'm a huge fan of that guy. First pick. Next up, we can go to the Darkrai. It is just to clarify, you guys do not have Sleep Band, right?
Nope,
Because it's
nope,
draft.
no sleep band.
Yeah, that is banned in OU. But yeah, this guy, I've played against him before. He's very fast. He has Hypnosis, which is just a 60% chance to pretty much win the game. Really, when it can. He gets him a guaranteed turn of sleep. Well, actually, no, because he'd be faster, so it would be the guaranteed turn is the turn that is that. But if you have a Focus Sash, you'll live the next turn. You can nasty plot for free, and then hopefully go for a sweep unless they have a Scarfer in the back.
Or like
Which,
priority of some sort. But
Mm-hmm. And even then, the Scarfer is mitigated by that last pick by Bombi there, setting webs potentially. Like that would just neutralize the Scarf. Um, yeah, Darkrai is just really scary, and it's nice that it slots onto almost any team really.
Mhm.
I can't think of a lot of teams that would not want to have a Darkrai on them.
130, 130. No, it's 130, 125, I think, is the speed. But and then you have Bolt Beam coverage. You have, like you said, you can set up with Nasty Plot. Yeah, just insanely strong mon. And definitely like a round 1 mon for sure. But he got it in round 2, right? So I mean, and towards the end of round 2.
He didn't even. He got it round 4 actually.
Oh, was it round 4? Oh my goodness.
I think that's where it is here. I feel
Yeah,
like I
you're
remember
right.
it being a waiver though.
No. I think he did get it round 4.
No, he did. Yeah, he wavered for the something else. On here.
I could pull up the waivers here. So I mean, he did a trade, Walking Wake for Roaring Moon.
It was Walking Wake. So it was original. Okay, yeah, Walking Wake was the one that got wavered. Okay.
Yep.
Which actually makes a whole lot of sense considering that there's a Hydreigon here as well. So I guess we can talk about the Walking Wake. I assume. Well, actually no, because he also traded for the Ninetales. I think.
No,
Maybe
he
got
had
it later.
he had the 9. So his pickups. So he traded with the Imbors for the Walking Wake. He picked up Sylveon and Hydreigon.
Okay. So he was originally going for Sun with the Roaring Moon, then changed to Wake, which I actually like a lot. From your team, Patrick, I remember.
Yes.
Walking Wake is brutal. That guy, you cannot switch in on him. And then also, like I completely underestimated the Ninetales. As a VGC player, I didn't even consider Healing Wish is so good because it's a pivot move. It basically acts like a slow pivot move where you die and then they don't even get to hit anything. And if they were going for like Rapid Spin or something, that doesn't even happen.
Well, and it also has
And then-
a similar option in Memento where you can drop 2 stages or switch something in that might just want to set up in your face, right?
Yep, I did that a lot. I actually did that with Goldengo in season 3 because I just sacked my Goldengo, then bring in a setup sweeper.
Nice.
Although in terms of setup sweepers, it really is just the Darkrai. I guess Hydreigon does get like Dragon Dance, I think, but you really want to run him special. Oh, I just glossed over Victory Dance, girl. There, that could be crazy too.
Yeah.
Depending on the set,
anyway.
Ceruledge as well is a.
Oh yeah, Swords Dance. Yeah.
Well, and that was Tyler's, like, I want this mon. I've wanted it for several seasons now. I want to like try to make a team where it can kind of function in and out. So like it's right where it needs to be in this picture right here. It's right in the middle. That's his focus. He wants to make this mon work.
I also just realized I looked over one of Glist's signature setup sweepers with the Mew. It can do kind of anything.
Yes.
It could dodge Thunder Waves.
Anyway.
I know that.
Yeah. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because we skipped down the line a little bit. But the Wake is it's brutal. You cannot switch in on it, and it also could just flip turn out at any point for free and get him into a good position with something else. Like if you try and switch in like a water type, you just flip turns out, goes to Lilligant, and then womp womp. The Mew is again like Darkrai, it's sort of like just a Gloomon that can fit on a lot of teams. It can set like any of those hazards. Gets a lot of support. It also just gets like a coverage move of every type. So if there's something that you're missing in a certain week, or if you want a little bit of extra help, it can do that. And he's made it a Terra Captain, which just sort of compounds that. It's basically like a mini Arceus where you have a coverage move of every type and you can just turn into any type you need. in that week. We talked about the Sarah Ledge,
Which
but
is
yeah,
also
that
a Terra
is
Captain too, by the way.
yep, yep. And like I've said, I like Terra Captains with immunities. You can turn into something that's weak to fire, which is actually quite nice because you have your own sunset. So it's nice to have something that can switch in and take the fire hits because you know that treads is weak to fire. So they might be trying to hit your treads with a fire move, switch in Sarah Ledge, get a boost, and then hit it back with a strong what is it Bitter Blade? I think
Yes,
so,
that's the
right?
healing
The
move.
signature
Yep,
move.
yep.
hmm and
Um,
then just like also Shadow Claw and a bunch of other slicing moves.
yeah,
Does it get Sacred Sword? Probably not, right?
it probably does, I would think, but I don't know. Uh,
No, it does not. It does
okay.
get close combat though, so that's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but I mean, it's a spin blocker.
Oh
But
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, again, you have here's what you like those. You had flash fire on a Terra Captain, right? So you get your immunity.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course weak armor's got
hmm
fun things that you can do too. But
hmm Let me look at Hydreigon. Does he still get defog or anything
I
out
don't
of
think
that
so.
utility?
I don't think so.
What about
I know
Roost?
Lilligant does, and
Yeah,
I
Hydreigon
think
does not get Roost or defog
Lilligant might
anymore.
be. Is Lilligant the only one up here who actually has defog?
What about Ribombi?
I'm trying to remember. Rabambi might, because everybody else before Rabambi got it from like
No.
Gen 4 when it was a TM. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So only.
Well, Ribombi is the move tutor in Gen 7 as well.
Was it?
That's
Oh,
probably where
okay.
Ribombi had
Okay,
it from.
okay. I forgot about that. That's right. The little stands, wherever they had it there in the post game. Yep.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. So he's got.
But Mew also lost it too.
Yep.
So it's just
just her, but I mean,
spin.
it's an extra
and
option,
Lilligant.
right? So I mean, you have treads as your rapid spinner, and it's kind of the same vein that we
Yeah.
talked about in the other team, right? Is do you want to
Yeah,
give
that's
treads
what
the
I was
option
gonna
to not run it? And it's not as big a deal on treads because I feel like treads is not as big of like a potential sweeper like Tusk is, right? But it's certainly a lot of things that it wants to run, and maybe it wants the other slot some weeks. So, but
Yeah,
typically,
especially I'd say Treads gets like a ton more coverage than Tusk, so that slot is a little bit more valuable, probably than on
I don't know.
Tusk.
Is tons the right word? Because I mean, Tusk also gets the ice spinner, gets knockoff. I mean, it doesn't have the
Treads
switching
gets
initiative.
knockoff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you also have Tusk does get Mega Horn, but that's one of the things I was thinking of. Not that you're gonna run that often.
There would be a special situation like my friend Malamar or something's on
does.
the other team, but the
It does actually. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense that they both get Mega Horn.
yeah.
I think Tusk also gets Temper Flare, so maybe Tusk actually does get more coverage than Treads. I usually just think of Treads as the guy that has all the coverage.
They both got
BTC player.
a ton of it, but and your Lilligant probably is not going to be your defogger. She's probably going to be like you mentioned earlier, your victory dance, like try to do so. Or I mean, chlorophyll on this team, right? So
Well, both even. If you want that,
yeah, true.
because I do not think Hustle. It's fun. Maybe not fun's not the
But
word.
but yeah,
It's potential mon. It's like it has the potential to sweep through teams unboosted, but
That's-
in reality, probably not.
I was about to say your definition of fun. Woo! I missed.
Yeah. Yeah. That I mean, it also does get sleep powder. So like the Darkrai, it just has the potential to just obliterate your opponent if off one lucky turn that can snowball into a game win essentially.
You definitely want to run wide lens on this mon if you can, because right, you mentioned the sleep powder. It's got triple axle, right? And I feel like there's another move it benefits from that, but those two are enough to talk about
It's
it.
got Axe Kick, which is like high jump kick.
That's it.
90% accurate, or maybe it's 95. I don't know. But I mean, you could just do close combat too. I think it's only 10 points weaker, so it depends on what item you're running. But
It's not very thick
yeah,
anyway.
triple
It's like
axle.
when it's going for moves, it's trying to like clean up. So
and triple axle is just such a good move to give to like a lot of fighting types for coverage. So like you would be running it for triple axle anyway, probably.
yeah,
Ninetales we already talked about, but it's a Sunsetter which just works with a lot of the Pokemon on this team. Sylveon is a fairy type which this team didn't have yet, so that's really nice.
Well,
Fairies
I think
are,
so. He
well,
picked.
I guess there's the Ribombay.
He had the Ribombay, and he picked the Sylveon up later. But it's kind of the same stuff we said with Umbreon, right?
I was about to say, yeah, it's basically the same bulk. Actually, no, it's slightly physically weaker than Umbreon, but same sort of special bulk as Umbreon. And Wish Baton Pass is really good. Maybe a little bit less good because this team's a lot less fat than that last one. But there's some Pokemon here that still really
think,
appreciate the healing.
Yeah, Wake's certainly a pretty thick mon, and then Treads to an extent too. And then,
Hydreigon too, it can be.
and then she's like more an offensive version of Umbreon, right? Because I mean, you still get like the Pixelate Hyper Voice type shenanigans if you really wanted to.
You can even run like choice specs too, and just like blow stuff up if they have a team that doesn't
yeah,
do well
if the
in
matchup
fairies.
looks good, you can just run specs and like keep a baton pass on there in case you need to do like pivot out or something. Like, yeah, great mon. Like I said, there's some good bargains down there. Sylveon's certainly one of them.
Yeah, no, I for 6
Notably,
points, that's really good.
Yeah, notably, it's one of his best ways of getting rid of dark types, which provide a surprising amount of trouble for this team.
That's actually
Outside
true.
of
Like the
Lilligant.
Lilligant, yeah.
He's got
And then we have the Red Bombay last, which is another thing that helps with the dark types. So that's nice that he grabbed double fairies. Well, I guess it's not at the end of his draft, but they're just at the end of the pool.
the cheapest mon in his draft.
And it's a fake or not fake out. I was gonna say it's immune to fake out, but that's not really that relevant in
Singles.
in not immune to fake out, but immune to the flinching from shield dust. I mean, that is probably the only ability that you run, right? I guess you could run Sweet Veil.
I forget what it does
for sleep.
to be okay. There
It makes you immune to sleep. But no, it's basically just a web setter. But it also can, deal with like the dark types, like Liz said, pretty well. Also, I guess he does have a decent fighting weakness as well between the Darkrai, Treads, and Hydreigon. So it's nice to have double fairies.
Yeah. Also, it can technically Quiver Dance in the right matchup.
That's true. I think Colin ran Specs on it one time as well when his opponent did not have a fairy resist, which I think it actually put in a decent amount of work there.
But yeah, I think the main factor is definitely the sticky webs for sure.
It really goes to show how much he wants Sarilege to shine in this draft because it was 7 of his 10 Pokemon are base 100 speed or higher, and he still drafted sticky webs.
That's a very good point. He's got like pretty much only 2 mons that are like sub 100 if you fluff the 98 there. So yeah, very fast team.
Something we didn't even mention about the Sarilege is that it does have that weak armor as well. So if you switch it in on something that it's got pretty good resistances as a Ghost Fire. Like you could switch it in on like grass or a bunch of other types, and then get +2. Then like if they're like choiced into that, or if they just don't have coverage to hit you, or if you Terra and get another hit, then boom, you're at +4 maybe. But then you Swords Dance, and then that's how that would sweep with weak armor. And the sticky web does help like a lot because, like Gliss said, the 85 is a little bit slow, and he does really want that Sarilege to shine.
Yep. Let's see some weaknesses. I mean, Treads is the only one really like soaking up the flying hits. Is Poison actually bad, or is that just not really? He's got Steel type. He's got Sarilege. So that's not too bad. Trying to see what's an actual weakness and what's a fake weakness, right? But
because the Lilligant's like contributing to the poison weakness, but that's probably going to be
she's dying to anything. Yeah,
Rybombi as well, actually. Yeah.
So it seems like a overall pretty balanced team.
Yeah, it does. Which is rare because usually when you see a weather, maybe not sun specifically because grass and fire, but a lot of people will go crazy with a weather team and they'll just draft like 4 mons of the same type. And that hurts your type variety a lot, and your weaknesses all sort of consolidate to a few types.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right? I mean, if you look back, in fact, I probably was a polar opposite example of that in my season 3 team because I think it was only Wake that like super benefited from the Ninetales getting the sun up.
You didn't even bring the Ninetales a lot of the time. You just
I think I brought it
Wake
maybe twice.
Specs guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it against you. I remember that, but
you did, yeah. I remember that, and I did not expect the Healing Wish. I'm like, that is terrible because I've been chipping that Wake down all game.
The other reason I brought it is I just wanted something else to switch into Golden Go's. What's the money move?
Make It Rain.
Make It Rain. So.
Make It Rain. That definitely did it well.
Yeah, I think Tyler can do a lot of good work with this team. We'll certainly see. Anybody have any other closing remarks for this team?
I think I said everything I wanted to.
Yep, same here.
Okay. Well, then I'll lead us off with Colin's team. All right. So we have Meowscarada, which I love the kit of this Pokemon. I'm not a big fan of the design, but I love everything it does. You have Stab knockoff, you have U-turn, you have Protein, you have a crit always move, so like it's hard to like bulk up on this mon unless you resist it. it's just a really good mod. And again, I like how it functions. It's again speed demon. I didn't mention that. Just phenomenal mod, and obviously what he grabbed it round one because it is that. And then let's see. I don't know what the order. I mean, I can flip that up there real quick. The Summoning Lando was next. So you got the Landorus. You consistent stealth rocker. You can make it a choice scarfer. You get the intimidate. Everybody knows what Landorus does. We've had to deal with this thing since Generation 5. And if you like it, you either like this mod, you love this mod, or you hate this mod. There's not really like an in between. I'm of the I hate this mod.
I love this mod.
We have the bundle, which he did pick up with one of my favorite mods in draft, Slow King Galler. So he's going to get those 100% accurate blizzards. He's going to get the slow pivot into bundle. So typically the biggest problem with bundle is your strongest moves are inaccurate. You still have that problem with Hydro Pump, but now you can just click the blizzard button for free. You get the free strike coverage. So honestly, this mod is just so hard to switch into unless you have like water absorb on like a Terra Captain that can go like steel or something. Just a horrible mod to deal with, and Slow King's an enabler for that. So I hate to see it, but it looks nice as a combo here. And of course, I didn't even mention the fact that the snow's going to give it a defense buff too.
Yeah, and he's already got good defense.
Yeah.
It's like his only good defensive stat.
Yep. Jirachi, phenomenal mon. You get your steel type here. You pick up a second psychic type. So, and we'll look at the weaknesses here in a little bit. But I see those two beside each other. I'm like, okay, ghost and dark. I need to like look and see if that's the actual weakness for this team. But you get your wish support. You get your healing wish if you want it. You can have a fast U-turn mon. You can click the Iron Head button with Serene Grace. Jirachi just does a ton of stuff. Has a lot of coverage like Ice Punch. Just a phenomenal mon. Great pickup. I could go on and on about Slow King, but the important thing you need to know is he's got Chilly Reception and Regenerator, and then has a good move pool. Just phenomenal mon. Clefable, you get an Unaware mon. I guess that was his pickup for Fairy type. It's certainly a well-tested mon over the years, right? You can be Magic Guard if you're worried about like hazards that week. If you're worried about someone setting up, you can be an Unaware mon. Being a Gen 1 normal type, you have a phenomenal move pool. And I think this is another wish mon. It doesn't have like the thickest of teams to note in that regard. The thickest probably technically being, I guess, Jirachi and Lando. I mean, Slow King himself, but he's got Regenerator. He's self-sufficient. Then he's got the Araquanid pickup, which I think was after bundle. So it's a second water type. I think he just wanted a good Websmon is what I'm reading out of this. Because you already got a good special defense wall in Slow King, and Jirachi can also be a good special defense wall. So I really think this was just a sticky web pickup. And then we have Regieleki. So you're getting that's his only rapid spinner. I don't think Lando has defog anymore, so
It does not.
I was about to say it's the only way to get rid of hazards, but he also has Mouse Hold. And you have Tidy Up, and he made it a Terra Captain, I believe, so you're going to have Terra Normal Population Bomb, which can do some damage. Something to think about. You're playing against this team, like, okay, well, maybe I want to run Rocky Helmet on something this week. Let's see. He made Slow King a Terra Captain, but that's interesting. So you got your tank that you kind of like mold to whatever you need to do it that week. And then Clefable.
Same with Clefable.
Clefable's, that's a bit more of unconventional or unobvious, I guess, to me. Tank, but I guess maybe that's kind of thinking with Unaware and what you're trying to like prevent from running through your team. I guess in that whole sentence that was a run-on sentence, I covered Mousehold. And then again, we talked about Typhlosion earlier. Copy paste what I said here also, but now you get a spin blocker at the cost of getting Flash Fire. You swap it out for Frisk, which you can get some good information with Frisk. But I mean, again, this is a best of one format, so Frisk is maybe not as valuable as it would be in doubles, but still nice to have. But that's my quick. I need to take a sip of water, and let y'all chime in. Time out here for me.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on everything. One thing that I would like to say is that so Colin originally like told me his plan, and he's like, I want to get Grin Ninja because it feels like he can do so much. And I'm like, well, what about Meowscarada? He's like, well, there's no way that falls to me. And then it did. So basically, like, sort of everything that he wanted in his team just sort of got an upgrade, which I really think is due to the 8-person like pool, right? Like, you just get so much more. And like so much more stuff will fall to you, and just the teams just get better on average. Like I messaged Sigtrig about this earlier a few days ago, but it's just like I think every team here is pretty solid. Whereas like in the past, it's like there's a few teams like you can tell they got kind of shafted by their draft position, or like they got sniped by something that they wanted that they were really banking on
I don't
getting.
want to hear anybody complain about draft position. I'm like middle, like almost every effing time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, when middle is fourth pick at worst, like
Yes,
fourth
no,
pick is a good pick.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Um,
this is a side note, but I'm going to be the second seed in our pool coming up here on Friday, and I'm almost more scared to be in the early spot because I have to worry about waiting so long for my next pick. So,
yeah. But like the Greninja got upgraded to a Meowscarada, and then he's like, okay, and then I started looking for a water type attacker. And then he's like, wait, bundle fell to me at fourth pick? Like that's kind of crazy. And then that like because he wasn't planning on the bundle because he was planning on Greninja. And then the bundle just opened up the Slow King, and then he just got like a pretty solid defensive core between Slow King, Landorus, and Clefable, which was my biggest concern when he showed me his original draft, is that I was worried he was going to fall down the season 3 route that he went down, where he has 10 setup sweepers and no defensive switches.
that was
Like
Fred season 1.
I was like, because I help him team build and stuff. It's just like every single time that season, I'm like, all right, you just got to get like use your type immunities, and you just got to find your opportunities to set up and sweep, because that's like all your team can do. Which, if you guys remember his playoff game versus Dave,
Oh,
was like the
God.
funniest thing ever.
Cue the circus
where
music.
his opportunity was like dodging 2 air slashes, and then like getting a static para full para. Maybe it was a static. Maybe it was a secondary effect para full para. But anyway, he can avoid that with I mean, literally Slow King. If you're ever going to have one defensive switch, Slow King is a great choice for that, because it's a switch and a pivot all in one. And it's got a great typing. This one absorbs the toxic spikes. Um, yeah, I think it's just really solid. Like we talked about with the Clefable too, Unaware or Magic Guard, both really good. You don't actually have to run the boots if you don't need them. Or you can do fake boots with Unaware, or fake boots with Magic Guard, and then or no, fake boots with Unaware, and then they wouldn't expect it. Or that's a bit more of a gimmick, because boots are just a good item now. That was something people were speculating back at the beginning, when boots came out. Um, there's the Reggie Eleki, like you mentioned. It's his only spinner, but it's also pretty interesting because obviously it's walled by ground types, but this team actually does a really good job at removing opponents' ground types between Bundle Meow. Landers can switch in for free on ground type attacks that are aimed at Regieleki. Arachnids a resist that also just kind of destroys ground types as well. It's Regieleki is not going to be a hindrance, as much of a hindrance as it sometimes is in, maybe not draft, but in singles.
I think this team has a couple, at least typing wise, it has a couple things that you can kind of hit it with. I mean, I mentioned earlier the Dark and Ghost. The Ghost particularly, if you're really counting on your mouse hold for the immunity, that's kind of okay. I need to watch out for Ghost, because I mean, Meowscarada is not very defensive either.
Not at all. Yeah.
And then Dark's not as bad because you have the Clefable to kind of help mitigate that a little bit. But then you go over here on the left side and you look at Fire, and you're like, okay, well, if you don't bring Typhlosion that week, you have nothing to switch into Fire. Now again,
and even though you don't really want to switch Typhlosion, well, I guess Arachnid does kind of have a resist too with Water Bubble.
That's true. That is not shown. And you can, and something else that anytime we're talking about typings, right? There's a lot of things could be a Terra Captain, right? So I mean, if he's going to like someone has a bunch of fire options, like okay, I'm gonna Terra Water my Clefable or Slow King this week, and just make sure I always have a switch in. So those things can be mitigated. I'm just kind of at a high level here, not considering Terra, talking about it. But Trey, you've been quiet over there. You have something you want to throw in at this team?
Yeah, I was taking a look because all of the team looks really solid. I think the only thing I'm worried about is not having a physical wall breaker without feeling like you're spreading Meowscarada or Landorus a little too thin. So there are definitely some moments where if certain defensive Pokemon get in, it's going to be incredibly hard to remove them. just by the value of so much of this team's power is in specifically Meowscarada and Bundle. And Terra Mousehold sometimes clicks Population Bomb.
And Typhlosion sometimes clicks Eruption. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah. But in general use, I am a little nervous about just certain special walls getting to just sit on the field, but I could be very wrong. So,
no, I think that's a valid concern. Let's see. He's got lots of Switch Initiative. So we got some knockoff options. I don't know if is knockoff a TM in this game. I guess it is because everybody has it. So yeah, I think everybody there probably. Oh, except Lando lost knockoff, right? So he doesn't have it anymore. So maybe just Clefable and Meowscarada here.
Yeah, Landorus did lose knockoff.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some. There's a few roles that maybe are rarities on this team that he needs to protect. But I mean, otherwise, I think this is a very terrifying team. If you go up against this team and you don't have, I should talk about this from Colin's perspective. If you're going up against a team and they don't have answers to Bundle, and a lot of teams don't. You find ways to make Bundle punch holes. But going up against a team and they don't have a lot of checks to fire. You let Typhlosion poke holes. So he definitely has like some big offensive threats. If your opponent doesn't have, for some reason, a ground type, let Regieleki go ham. You could throw a specs on it that week and just volt switch on everything for free. So he definitely has these terrifying mons, and you got to figure out, make sure your team can kind of like find ways to check it. Because there's certainly games I think Colin's going to have where he can just kind of easily set up and run away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about in this one?
I said everything I had to say.
Yeah, I think it's mostly been covered. It's hard to pick holes in this team.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to pick holes in a lot of teams just because, like you mentioned, every team is so much better.
Yeah.
All right. Trey, why don't you lead us off then on Mr. Canoe's team?
All right. So this is another one where the draft order is a little bit different.
Yeah, I got to throw that up there for you real quick.
Tier order.
And a lot of trades happen too. So
that's true. A lot of trades did happen.
I could throw those up here as well if you want to talk about those at all. But
I should be good. So
okay.
First Pokemon, I will mention going ahead of the draft order. Garchomp was the first pick here, which I think is categorically just a right pick, quote unquote, for what this team wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
It sets a lot of hazards. It covers some interesting defensive matchups. Rough Skin is just always great. It's just a good Pokemon, and it always has been, always will be. Next over, we go to Ogerpon, which is his Terra Captain, so he is not hurting for a special wall at any point in time. Incredibly strong Pokemon. It does everything that Grass Ogerpon did better because of the water typing. It allows for certain walls that would give this team problems to no longer give this team problems. Ivy Cudgel being a water type move is incredibly strong. You have more spikes, you have more utility, you have everything you want, plus the boost off of Terra. It's very good, especially when paired with the next little guy we're going to talk about here, Chi-Yu. Who would have thought that could use out Chi-Yu?
And he can use Shiny Chi-Yu this season.
In his defense, I think he got it pretty late compared to what he typically gets it, right?
It's
round 5? Round 5, yeah.
We also, if you're pulling up the other sheet, we can't see it on the
Sure,
screen.
I can throw that up there. Yeah, what you got?
No. I was just making sure.
Oh,
I saw you click into it on my second monitor, and I was like, I don't know if he thinks he's pulling it up over here.
I didn't realize that wasn't actually being shown on. Oh no, it is being shown. It is being shown on the recording, but
it's on the recording, but not the Discord stream.
I'll fix that. Y'all keep talking.
Fair enough. Chi-Yu, just a nuclear bomb in the shape of a little fish. Uh, so very, very few checks for this thing. And of those checks, Garchomp and Ogerpon take out the ones that are like fire type flash fires.
Mm-hmm.
And for the water types, Ogerpon covers it well. Dragon types, Garchomp can kind of do its thing, etc., etc. Just really strong coverage between these two. Chi-Yu is the definition of a wall breaker. It's the Great Wall of China breaker, if you really want to get down to brass tacks on it.
Yep.
Next up, we got Sneasler. Dire Claw is the most annoying move in the world.
Yeah.
It's his speed demon
Great.
mon, right?
It's fast. It's fast. It hits hard. Dire Claw is annoying. It provides a solid level of coverage. Not necessarily anything this team is like dying to get, because you already with Chi-Yu, nothing that Sneasler can't hit is going to be like missed. Chi-Yu is going to destroy the ghost types. It's going to destroy it's great coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else to say. I'm sort of floundering for words, trying to find like
It destroys things that resist it. I mean, Chi-Yu's just a monster.
Yeah, it's so many of these picks are like, it could have this weakness, and then you like pan the camera over to Chi-Yu. Quaquaval, his rapid spinner, also a surprisingly competent Pokemon for cleaning games with Aqua Step and Swords Dance. I think it gets bulk
Moxie.
up too.
Yeah.
Oh, Moxie as well.
Yeah.
It has way too many ways to boost.
Yeah. And on the note of removal, I'm pretty certain the defog is fake here. I think both those mons no longer get defog in Skarmory and Rotom. But so this, I think, is his only removal, barring the next thing you're going to talk about here, which is prevention. But
yes, I don't think Quaquaval, it's a spinner. You could say maybe we get a different spinner so that we're not having the same coverage levels of fighting versus Sneasler and water with Ogerpon Wellspring. But how many good spinners are left on the board when you're drafting your spinner third pick and fifth?
Mm-hmm.
Third round, fifth pick. Like, it's still a strong spinner. It has other great utility as well. And both of the Donphan clones were off the table.
I want to say he picked that up. Yeah, he picked that up after the fact. That used to be Ting Lu.
Oh yeah.
Oh, even I
really
like that trade actually. This team is so.
It didn't need Ting Lu.
It already has.
It had a good dark type and had a good ground type. It did not need Ting Lu.
It had a good dark type. It had a good ground type. If you look over at the hazard section as well,
yeah,
it gets a good bit of hazards.
Everything.
Already.
Yeah, I think these are all accurate. So I think these are all these mons. I have all those hazards. So
yeah, so I like that trade for Quaquaval. Next up, speaking of hazard stuff, Magic Bounce is a fun ability, and Hatterene is an even more fun Pokemon.
She is fun.
This thing, if Chi-Yu wasn't on the team, I would really highlight how well this Pokemon breaks walls. Instead, I'm going to talk about how well this Pokemon destroys dragon types. Because outside of specifically Hatterene, this team does have a problem, quote-unquote, where it can't hit certain dragon Pokemon very well. And Hatterene does not care. It covers that weakness. Magic Bounce is so incredibly strong. On top of that, it gets Nuzzle, so it can really, once it forces out a passive Pokemon or threatens something with wall breaking, you can Nuzzle it and just cripple a different threat. There's a lot of really strong options that Hatterenes are running. It's going to be really interesting to see what he does with this Pokemon.
It's also his other Terra Captain. Now, granted, she has an amazing typing already, but certain matchups you can make her even more of a problem.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be interesting seeing what he does through the Terra, because she kind of just goes ham already. But I have faith.
Probably be Ogerpon most weeks, we'll be honest. But
yeah. No, I was gonna say
exactly.
like I do like having instead of having Ogerpon and then two shit mons, I do like having something like one of your good mons, a Terra Captain, because if there is a week where she's threatened by, well, yeah, it is a really good type. But I guess strong ghost type might be the thing that you want.
Yeah,
Terra Dark.
Well, yeah, looking at this team, Chi-Yu is the switch in for ghost types, right?
Which, yeah, you don't really want Chew to take a hit. So that probably would be the big case. Although then again, most ghost types are probably going to be special, so Ogerpon eats those up anyway.
Yeah, true.
Another thing to shout out for this Pokemon, outside of both having Healing Wish being a great pivot option and also one of the most broken moves in the format, this thing is really, really good at setting up with Calm Mind.
Hmm.
It's so incredibly bulky already, especially paired with its fantastic typing,
Hmm.
that it once like certain threats like steel types are eliminated,
It can
it
just
can
win the
go
game.
to town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's another really good point for it being a Terra Captain is you don't necessarily have to remove the same threats Hatterene always looks at. You just
Need a
Terra them.
turn for that
And
first Calm Mind to get going.
yeah,
And
and it
especially when Hatterene is just naturally immune to like the two best ways to deal with Calm Minesweepers, which is, Taunt and Toxic, being immune to both of those through Magic Bounce, as well as Draining Kiss being like deceptively like stupid of a move. Like the low base power is just like it's like okay, whatever. I heal 75% instead of the normal 50%. And Hatterene also has such low HP and such high defenses that healing is so meaningful for it.
Hmm.
It will not die.
100%. It also has one of the most interesting moves ever released in Psychic Noise.
Oh yeah.
So you do have really good counterplay to a lot of these bulkier teams going around with Regenerator or Wish spamming.
Aloma Mola.
Which we'll get to in, I believe, two more or three more. So all of that interesting stuff we talked about with Hatterene, we're gonna immediately no longer talk about it. It's Skarmory. Uh, insane defensive wall, insane hazard setter. You can press body press, you can press iron defense body press. Uh, that's Skarmory, baby.
You can't set up on it either. It's got Whirlwind. So that's the one thing I really like about Skarmory over Corviknight is you, as opposed to, now you do lose U-turn, but you can push things out. Whereas Corviknight, I feel like you can kind of set up on it a little bit more freely.
100%. That's also a really good call out. If he's getting crazy, he's gonna do weak armor. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh my god.
I
Throw away
don't know about
Edgar.
my bones. I don't really feel that in my bones personally.
Cowards.
Yeah, you might have
Although
arthritis.
actually, I was about to say like I guess his abilities are like the other ones are not that important, so the opportunity cost is not as high. But I mean, weak armor does just kind of hurt you like 80% of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if he brings weak armor ever, I'll like give him $50 or something. I don't know.
Maybe the week that he plays you, yeah.
There it is. Oh, now we're talking.
That's called sliding him $50.
Next up, Rotom. Apparently one of the more premier spin blockers in draft. Which
I
it
would not
does
have
make
expected
sense.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, once
I would-
Dave actually explained it, it made a lot of sense. Low point cost. It has some great supporting moves. It's a really strong typing. It allows you to pivot. It just kind of does a little bit of everything. It has worse stats than the other Rotom forms.
For just like
which
a
is-
little bit more speed, but a lot of bulk is lost.
Yeah.
Like so much because the HP is low and they all have low HP.
Yeah.
The other ones are just carried by the 106 defenses, which this one does not
Yeah,
have
it's like
anymore.
30 points off of both defenses, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, spin blockers the game. This was a Miss Magius, and I think Rotom was just a better fit here. He offers a little bit more utility, as of being like a not as good Flutter Mane. You instead get like a bunch of utility. So
Another nice thing this does is that after Garchomp's like out of play, this is one of his few electric resists. This team is a little scared of certain electric types. This provides at least some form of resistance,
mhm.
which is going to be very much needed, especially after Ogerpon clicks Terra.
It's also a great
Yeah.
switch for Chi-Yu, right? So if someone wants to threaten Chi with a fighting move or a ground move, Rotom come in and say, "Hey, I'm immune. I'm
true.
immune to both of those."
Yep, 100%. Next up, Toxapex. Thank God it lost Scald. Thank God it lost a lot of things.
They should give this
Incredible-
Mon flip turn.
They should not give this Mon. Incredible wall in general.
We love Regenerator.
We love Regenerator. We love just Recover. It still gets that one. Yep. It does so much defensively. It can actually pivot. It's one of his like stronger defensive pivots because of that Regenerator ability.
I'd say yeah, it's probably the second strongest after Skarmory even.
You're
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
going the physical defense route most weeks because your other water type, which you're probably going to always have, is your special defense, right? So
I think there's
it
some
might
merits
tag
to
out with
that too, though,
it might tag out with
because you have
Skarmory.
Skarmory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it depends on the week,
The
right? I mean,
awkward thing, though,
your
is
opponent
that
could have a ton of special mons, and like, okay, well, I want both of them to be that way. So
one of the awkward things though is that between Skarmory and Pex, they're both weak to Electric, which, like Liz said,
yeah.
is gonna rely. You're gonna rely on your Garchomp's immunity a lot, and then the Rotom's natural resist. But it is kind of awkward when your two premier defensive switches share a weakness.
To be fair, he has a lot of defensive mons: Pex,
hmm
Skarmory, Hatterene, and then Ogerpon, Wellspring to some extent. So
hmm
It is nice. He has a lot of outside of the electric typing. He has a good handle on a lot of the weaknesses that Toxapex has in the form of other Pokemon. Skarmory makes a great defensive. Skarmory and Hatterene make great defensive pairs of it. Skarmory completely checks the ground with the flying resist, of course, and then or flying immunity rather, and then Hatterene checks the actual psychic types as a great switch in there. So this Pokemon has a couple of overlapping types with the rest of his team, but hopefully he can play around it with some of his other defensive.
well, I was about to
Uh,
say, and I don't know this. I'm not giving it a lot of thought, right? I'm not looking at like the type chart, but like, what do you think about Wellspring being swapped out for Cornerstone? Because you got two water types already, like you were just saying. He's got two. You got Quackleval, Toxapex, and then Ogerpon makes three. You get that Stab Rock. Um, I don't know. Is there an appeal there, or just water's just so much better that you would still want it?
Now I'm gonna have to really look at the chart and think about it for a second.
Because you mentioned electric, right? Like
Cornerstone.
after you Terra, like Skarmory, Toxapex, Ogerpon, and you might not have all three of them in the same game, but like that's all like electric super effective. And Quackleval, I didn't even mention him, but I mean he's not a tank. But
Yeah, not even close to tank. It's not the worst idea. I think there are definitely some trades that can be made for type diversity sake.
So here's another follow-up question: if he was to get the Cornerstone, do you think he would? He probably wouldn't keep it a Terra Captain, would he? He'd use the points somewhere else. You think? Because you don't really need the defense boost on it. I mean, the damage boost is probably what you'd be doing it mostly
well,
for.
yeah.
But
Ironically, Rock is not a defensive type like Brock would have you think. Um,
yeah.
so I mean,
And you also lose sturdy, which is like, I mean, being sturdy is like one of the best things about it. Maybe a little bit less good in singles because
yeah,
you can just have chips
hazards.
by hazards.
Yeah,
But I actually think that it would be better used elsewhere. Because one thing Colin and I talked about is the Ogre Pawns, as a Terra Captain, it's like great because they have their abilities, but you do have to Terra into that like exact type.
it's predictable.
Whereas like if you were to make something like, is Garchomp Terra-able? I actually don't know.
No.
Is it terrible? It's
I've
not,
I've
okay.
had that pun in my head a lot of times, but no, it Scale Shot be too broken
That's true.
for
That's true.
Chomp and Terra.
Well, that was the obvious one that I was
But
thinking.
the fish can Terra, which I think
Wait, really?
there's some merit
I was
to
about to say,
And
there's
I
merit
was
to that
literally about to
because
say,
his move pool sucks.
there's no way the
Like,
fish can Terra. That
it-
feels that like because I see like Ogerpon Cornerstone or not Cornerstone, Ogerpon Hearthflame Terra Band, which makes sense because that guy is ridiculous with +1 attack. But I felt like Chi would be a similar boat. But,
Chiyu costs one additional point to become a Terra Captain, which is 16, and Water
but Ogerpon's
Ogerpon.
already 18.
Yeah, so
right?
you could, yeah, so if you did make that swap and wanted to move a Terra Captain around, you could technically, in theory, do that. And if you're watching this later, I'm not necessarily condoning this. I'm just rolling around the ideas
Yeah.
because you have three water types in your team. I haven't actually thought that far into it.
But to be fair though, aside from like maybe Steel and maybe Fairy, Water's probably the like one of the best types to stack.
True.
Like, you cannot. Water type is like
Two
straight
weaknesses.
type.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think the big thing here is like maybe you're missing out on some offensive diversity
And-
between Quackleval and Ogerpon. But
absolutely. Another thing is a lot of the water types on his team, even though he's stacking it, they're not like the tankiest.
Exactly.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
so it is a good type to stack, but it's also especially into this team, it doesn't provide as much defensive utility as like you'd expect
Mm-hmm.
from a bulky water or what water is known for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say, incredibly funny saying this when the other Terra Captain is Ogre Pawn, but Terra Chi Yu is, instead of providing coverage, 90% of the time you're using it to click Overheat harder and faster, and stronger, as opposed to giving it like Terra Blast something.
Yeah. Because this mon oftentimes is like choiced in some manner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turns out that making overheat another 50% stronger is usually better than making
Another move.
a
Yeah.
2x effective like Terra Electric or something.
Yeah.
And then last up, we have Spidops. He's clicking sticky webs, and then he's probably promptly dying.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it does. You can do some interesting things with Stakeout. Not really that important. It clicks sticky webs.
Oh my god, the Insomnia is gonna come up in the match versus New York Ninetales.
This is actually the Darkrai check. I take it all back. It's coming in. It's clicking.
What does it even get? Lunge? No, it doesn't. Oh, it does get U-turn. Actually, never mind. I stand corrected. I feel like the guy's too slow to get U-turn. I thought, but no, slow U-turn. Oh my god.
So some inside information on this team is, well, the first part's obvious. Is he definitely was going for hazard stacking, but the follow up to that is he really wanted Golden Go as like the ultimate like spin blocker,
Spin blocker.
Makes sense.
I think Golden Go was picked like round 1 though, right?
Second.
On the turn,
swing
So
pick.
yeah, essentially. So he didn't get his preferred spin blocker. But that's his main goal here.
I personally, I don't know how much faith I have in Rotom. I know that it is good in singles draft, but like I would consider getting something else. I think if it was me, but I don't know. Maybe the Rotom is clutch, and I just am not.
I want to see it in practice, right? I mean, Dave's preaching it. He's probably more seasoned than anybody here. He does a ton of singles drafts, so
yeah.
I think we'll find out. Again, it's got the utility. It's just the lack of bulk is the thing that concerns me. But
yeah, actually, that's true because like I think that is he probably did actually pivot off the hazard stacking. Like he can stack hazards, but I think it's important to see that he doesn't have to, right? Like even just a stealth rock and maybe a layer of spikes or a layer of toxic spikes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not it's not the most important thing in the world to keep them after they've done, chip on a few guys, because he does have, some guys that don't really need the hazards to wear stuff down. Like Chiyu, that's getting a kill no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's been chipped by rocks or not, unless it's like a sash guy. Sneasler hits pretty hard. Another thing about the Sneasler, my VGC brain is like, oh, you want to get Sneasler with terrain. But the fun thing about singles is that you don't even have to do that, because my favorite Sneasler tech for singles is air balloon, because it's like you switch in, and then either you've got a ground immunity, which is great because you're weak to ground otherwise, or they hit you with something else, and oh no, my balloon popped. Anyway, now I'm times 2 speed, so
I guess you
that's
could,
great.
in that same vein, you could do like close combat white herb or something like that too.
Mm-hmm. But it's nice to get the speed boost before you've attacked.
Yeah.
Like on the switch in.
Oh,
too.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, if you have the momentum, like the switch momentum through like a slow U-turn or something, or just like Spidops being your.
I was about to say
lead,
that's like your
setting webs and
only
then dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really
then
have.
You can come in.
Barring the Spidox, he doesn't really have slow pivots. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Hatterene can kill itself, but that's
that's
it.
Yeah, it is a healing wish mod, so that is worth mentioning. I don't think I ever did that with it when I had it, but you could like recharge your Chomp or something with it.
Yeah.
And then get a free switch in.
That's mostly from what I've seen used on like hard Trick Room teams, that you can get into a Trick Room sweeper without without it taking damage.
Mm-hmm.
But hard Trick Room is so much worse in singles than it is in doubles.
Yes, the whole turn you're missing out on, and you're not capitalizing on like with 2 mons. It's just the 1 mon, and like okay, yeah, I don't like Trick Room at all in singles, but.
And defensive switches are just so much better in singles. Like you have 3 turns and you have to get all of them right.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess unlike doubles, not everything's gonna have protect with no opportunity cost. So in doubles, if they get their protect turns right, then you really have two turns. But
it's probably neither here nor there because this team's probably not clicking the Trick Room button.
No, never. I don't think. Yeah.
Oh no, I have fast picks.
You're laughing now, but that base 35 speed Spidops coming in with like lunge or something.
You really do be lunging
So
on them.
I said everything that I said about the whole poison water coverage with Toxapex. I'm Tentacruel on this team goes a little dummy though.
You get another spinner.
That's interesting. Yeah.
You get more tox. Well, I guess you get the same amount of Toxapex and same amount of knockoff because they both have it.
And that also, I think the important thing about that is that it consolidates Pex and Quaquaval into one slot, and then you free up.
Oh,
that's 20 points combined.
I see what you're saying.
You get
getting something else other than okay. You could bring your water down.
How much is Tentacruel?
Tentacruel, it's 9 points.
So you free up 11 points by doing that, and then there's some good Pokemon in there.
There's some really strong Pokemon in 11.
Blaziken's crazy. He's already getting a
Both
fire type.
Ursaluna-
You're probably not
Ursaluna.
You're not getting a fire type on this team.
I was about to say both Ursalunas, but you got Chomp as well.
What typings is he missing here? Let's see. Rock, ice, pretty much standard ones that most people are probably going to be missing. What does he need? Resistances? Maybe another good dark type, so Chi doesn't have to take the brunt of, or I guess a normal type could fit there too. But
King Gambit's there, but again, that covers two types he already has. But that is a really solid Pokemon.
Yeah,
that is a really solid Pokemon. He also is not scared of like fire types, or not fire types, fighting types. Well, I guess fire types too with all the water. Currently at least. Gambit could be solid here. There's a lot of Pokemon at 11 or points or lower that are really strong. He would have to do like 2 trades for it, but that is an idea for a spinner. And like Konik said, the point that I was trying to get at with it is the consolidation of that role and being able to get another versatile slot.
You know it's there.
Yeah, and like that is a lot of points.
There's Rillaboom there if you want to give another way to enable Sneasler. Yeah.
And also, I mean, you do. Ogerpon does also have Grassy Glide too.
Now, I do want to point out that you would be putting Rillaboom on a team with Garchomp, so you'd have to rely on like high horsepower, but
it doesn't get high horsepower. It's Stomping Tantrum.
Oh, ew. Never mind. Don't do that.
That's
Don't do
really
that.
bad.
Don't do that. Never mind. I take it back.
I would like to point out the flying weakness on this team as well.
Yeah, because Skarmory's really the only one switching into it. Yeah.
Yeah, Rillaboom may not be a call, but who knows? With
if you're dropping the Quaquaval, that gets a little bit better, and then the Ogerpon is tearing.
That also helps
time.
with the water weakness too, because I was about to say an electric type would cover flying and electric here, but yeah, you're down 1 less water, so that does help.
Yeah, so you're not as worried about the electric weakness exactly. I think this team is like a trade or 2 away from being.
Also, if you're not married to like having the poison type, because you do have the Sneasler anyway, you could do Blastoise too at 8 points as a spinner.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest believer compared to like Tentacruel, because like Tentacruel does a lot more, but Blastoise obviously has the option to be like, I'm gonna Shell Smash, but
part of why Tentacruel really stuck out to me, outside of the typing, is that you also still get to hazard stack with Toxic Spikes.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. You have Toxic Spikes on, I guess. Yeah, Spidops. Never mind. Is like that's like
if you're bringing on Sneasler, you're throwing. If you're bringing Spidops, that boy's not living past a singular Sticky Webs.
They also
and Sticky Web is the more important of the 2 hazards to get up.
They also gave Tentacruel flip turn, so he does have that switch initiative.
He does, yes. Tentacruel has a surprisingly versatile moveset this generation.
He was one of my favorites to run in Gen 6. I was a big fan. So I like that idea.
Does anyone else have anything more on this team?
I feel like we've talked about this team more than any other one. I think we should move on.
I think so. Yeah.
That's fair, yeah.
All right, so let's we'll pull up the married couples team here.
I think that might be the wrong topic.
Yeah, I mean,
I just kind of got on a limb.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just well, I know if I type it in, then I'll have to fix it a little bit. We all know what Tropicus is not allowed to Terra. But let me just, for the sake of Terra, let me pull that up real quick. Terra captains are Annihilate, Azumarill, and Smeargle. So, Connix, why don't you take it over?
Sure. This is one of the teams that I probably know the least about because I have no clue what Terapagos is going to do in singles when it can't Terra. I remember that guy was ridiculous, like on day one.
So,
It was like a day one ban when
there's,
it could Terra because it was legal for a day.
right. There's a couple things.
Um,
So, it's a
okay.
good rapid spinner, right? It's got an amazing bulk. Um, and then in that same vein of setting up, because you get the speed boost, you can also Calm Mind with this Pokemon and set up.
That's true.
This is also draft, and it being Terapagos itself, it has like a solid move of every type. So it's like it's got
Yeah,
coverage to
yeah.
kind of like match what you need that week.
Okay. So yeah, that is actually pretty solid of like a Gloomon that just is pretty versatile. Um, Gouging Fire is just a. I'm actually not sure how great it is, but I mean it's expensive, so it's got to be good, right?
It can't Terra. That
Um,
Dragon Dance is too good, I guess, on it. But
oh, I forgot about Dragon Dance. Yeah, that makes sense. 'Cause it's going to be doing something completely different than it does in VGC because it's usually used for
a
Howl
Burning
there, but
Bulwark.
uh, yeah, not clicking that here
You
probably.
could,
I
you
guess you can
could.
just you can just do booster, I suppose. Booster energy with Flare Blitz and just solid offensive option. The thing that really stands out to me though is that Annihilate is the third most expensive Pokemon on this team, which is kind of crazy because that guy feels like really, really good to me. Especially in singles. I played Dave in season 3 with his Annihilate, and that guy, it's so terrifying because you have to second guess every single time you're gonna click U-turn or any move that is like
True.
doing meaningless damage. You're powering up Annihilate for the rest of the game, and that is something that you do not want to do.
Yeah.
You also have to be aware of anytime you click U-turn or not U-turn. I said that already. Defog is the one with
Oh
Defiant.
yeah, true.
You it is a spin blocker that's also not immune to defog, but you cannot click defog
You
into
can
this
regret it.
because
Yeah.
you will lose the game. It's like probably like right after Golden Go in that regard. I didn't even think about it when I was talking about spin blockers earlier, but um yeah, this guy is to me that feels like the best one on this team, but Gouging Fire and Terapagos are both more expensive than it.
hmm
Um, Weavile is just a solid offensive option. I've used this guy in singles before. In the very little amount of singles that I've played, I've used him. Knockoff triple axle, low kick, just good cover. Not maybe not the best coverage, but he just hits pretty hard. And he, you either run him Sash or Bandit or whatever, and he'll put in work. Now we come to my boy Gliscor. I love this guy,
Yep.
and this is also another one that feels like the fact that Gliscor is the fifth most expensive Pokemon on the team is like that guy. He feels like he should cost more because he carried me so much through my very first season of playing draft singles.
Yeah.
Just
It's
he
ridiculous.
there's so much stuff that you can do with it, or it's like the same few things, but he does it so well. I think the biggest problem with a lot of ground types is that they can get chipped down pretty easily, and then like Great Tusk. Not that Great Tusk is bad, but it's just that you only have the leftovers healing. But Gliscor, you're getting essentially double leftovers, and you can just protect for more. And the fact that it equates to exactly the amount that a substitute turns into means that if they have a Pokemon on their team that is slower than Gliscor that you don't have another answer for, Toxic Substitute Protect is always an option to deal with that Pokemon. And I did that a few times when my opponents had something that I'm like, oh, I remember, I think it was Zax's Araquanid, and I'm like, uh oh, I don't have a switch for Araquanid. All right, time to Toxic, because I figured it would be the switch for Gliscor. I'm like, oh, Toxic Sub, and it will never hit me. And if they switch, then I just have a sub up and I can just kill the next thing too. It's a terrifying
I,
Pokemon. It's a great switch. It's got U-turn so you can switch out relatively slowly. It can also Swords Dance. Did they make it a Terra Captain? No, he did not.
no.
I was gonna say because Terra Normal Facade is something that has been done in OU as well, so that could be
Yeah.
interesting.
No.
But Annihilate as a Terra Captain is really solid as well.
No, Gliscor is terrifying, and if it's so hard to keep the toxic immunity or whatever it's called, poison heal. Where is it? It's right here.
Yeah, Poison Heal.
Poison heal. Uh, they can switch into it and get it free. And then it's just such a defensive problem like the entire game.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I remember when we played, like I intentionally led Scizor knowing you could Fire Fang me, and I was willing to take that to get the knockoff on that mon. I
Uh-huh.
did not want that thing hanging around.
Yep. No, that was probably one of the biggest. I wouldn't even say it's a misplay because I figured. Well, when I saw the Scizor lead, I thought I'm like, okay, well, he's expecting Protect, so I'm gonna, he's expecting my Protect, so he's gonna Swords Dance, so I'll Fire Fang, and then it was knockoff, and I'm like, oh, that is really bad position to be in.
Yeah, if you protected, that would hurt my feelings.
Yeah, well, if you had Swords Dance on my Protect, that would have hurt my feelings.
That's true.
Too.
That's fair. That's fair. No, incredible.
Next
mon.
up, we got a Azumarill, which is 10 points. That's actually pretty fair because Azumarill, this guy was a menace back in, like, I remember I played a lot of Gen 6,
Yep.
Even VGC, but back, like, Belly Drum with Aqua Jet, like, if it gets a single turn, that's just turning into a game win, probably, maybe not probably, but a lot of the time, especially if the correct mons have been chipped down or if there's hazards, which there's actually a decent amount of hazards. Gliscor, again, being the GOAT, gets all three relevant hazards that aren't Sticky Web. As well as decent amount of Stealth Rock options. I did not realize Terapagos gets it, but that's cool. And then as well, Gengar not known for setting the Toxic Spikes, but if they're switching into like a normal type or a dark type, it can't hurt to read the switch and get Toxic Spikes up. Not that I don't think it does that.
Yeah.
But the Azumarill, if it gets a free turn, which actually, I didn't even see. There's the actual goat of hazards back there at the end with the smear.
Yeah, I was about to say. Speaking of hazards,
literally every move. Also taunt immune, or not taunt immune, but you can set up hazards regardless of taunt because it'll have the worst move of all time, Ceaseless Edge, as well as the second worst move of all time, Stone Axe.
He's like, and I took that personally.
No, they're both really good moves, just not when you can't hit them.
Well, 90% accurate means you hit it 50% of the time.
It was less than that for me, I think. Oh my god, that was a rough season for me. Yeah, and sort of in the same boat as the Azumarill, we got Komo-O with Clangorous Soul. You can run that with Throat Spray to get +2 special attack and +1 to everything else. The Komo-O is not a Terra Captain. The Azumarill is.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit awkward for the Komo-O because this team actually doesn't have the best fairy switch-ins, and Komo-O is quad weak. The only real, I guess you could switch in Empoleon. Gengar's a little bit too frail, but I guess also Annihilate being a Terra Captain means that's removing one of your fairy weaknesses.
I
but it just
do
hurts
agree. I do agree. Como probably would be an amazing Terra Captain. It's definitely something I've thought about because he's my favorite pseudo. I'm like, oh, I wonder how fun it would be to run, Terra Captain, Como in singles. But yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I do like that Komodo has three. Like one of my favorite things about Pokemon in Draft is when it has three usable abilities, which Komo-O does. Bulletproof, Soundproof, and Overcoat, all very relevant. You got Soundproof for like Sylveon. Bulletproof makes you Shadow Ball immune and a bunch of other moves. And Overcoat is a little bit worse than in VGC, but it is still a Spore and Sleep Powder immunity. So that's always relevant.
All good abilities. Yep. Like you said earlier, immunities are fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Does Empoleon actually get defog, or is that fake?
I think that's fake. I think it used to get it in like Gen 4.
The only removal on this team is Terapagos, which is a very good.
Yeah, and you're bringing it, I think, 100% of games, too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Smeargle could do it with Mortal Spin or something, because that is actually
fair.
You can get some other utility outside.
I think
you really want to lead the Smeargle.
Yeah, the Smeargle comes is probably going to lead and do stuff. You did mention Gengar earlier, and I guess technically, because Greninja will do this too, you could run like Focus Sash lead Gengar if you like your opponent doesn't have a poison type and not like great ways to get rid of hazards because you are a spin blocker inherently right out the gate, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, because that's what I was thinking. I knew Greninja and Meowscarada actually, if they're running an offensive set, they could just tech on Spikes or Toxic Spikes. And then, like, if they have a really good switch for you, you're like, okay, well, I'd rather get Toxic Spikes up than deal, like, 15% to this Ting-Lu that's coming in, even though Ting-Lu's undrafted. But there's another pool, too, like, that could potentially pick up Ting-Lu. But, Toxic Spike's probably a little bit better than the chip on Ting-Lu that's just going to get leftovers healed off a turn or two later.
Yep.
Empoleon does get Roost, though, and I'm a big fan of steel types that have recovery because outside of Empoleon, I think it's, just Skarmory and... Corviknight, I think, are the recovering steel types.
Give it back to Scizor. Give it back. Give it back.
The awkward thing, though, is that it's a water type that does not have access to Scald, which a lot of them don't, but being a penguin, it never had access to Scald, so Yeah, it's fun that your water move of choice is Water Pledge, just because it's the most consistent one that you
You got
have.
flip turn.
Yeah, well, that's not your not that's not an offensive move,
Yeah.
but that is good here
Yep.
because it's so slow. You
Yep.
get a nice
Yep.
defensive switch. Gengar, like we talked about, it's just as a good solid offensive mon. Gives it's the second fastest thing on the team, which is actually a little bit concerning because Weavile is was really fast when it came out, but 125 is not what it used to be.
It's not, but it's
Um,
still what in the speed demon class, right? Like you get that speed that
yeah.
makes your opponent have to go with like an adamant or a modest nature as, or excuse me, can't run those natures because they
Hmm.
have to do more speed invest. So it really helps your tanks out. So
Hmm.
it serves that purpose just existing.
Yeah. And you do have booster energy possibility on gouging fire, but I do feel like this team is going to get outpaced by some of the honestly even like mid-tier scarf Pokemon.
Hmm.
Because like yeah, anything faster than 91 is going to be a problem I think with a scarf. And then like we said, we talked about Smeargle already, but it just has every hazard, any move that it could possibly want, um, which is really solid.
Yep.
Anything you guys want to talk
I,
about?
I mean, you can see it right there. I think the typings is the biggest red flag for this team. I mean, there's a lot of things that are barely checked, if checked at all. Um, so I mean, you got ground, which is a terrible one. But I mean, Gliscor's holding a lot of weight in terms of ground here, because otherwise you don't check ground at all. Flying like Empoleon, like you're probably not bringing that every game. Psychic's Weavile,
Although
but
the
it's not a. If you're switching into a psychic move, you call it wrong. Weavile could just die or take an incredible amount of
yeah,
damage.
but Annihilate Cantera out of the flying weakness, and
Yeah,
I do think that upon second thought, the Como probably should be the other Terra captain. So
I think it'd be a fun Terra
then
captain,
you
but
then both of them could turn out of a flying weakness.
yeah, it certainly
But then
helps
again,
with
there
the
still is no
fairy.
flying
Yeah,
resist.
well, but
Yeah,
yeah, both
aside
that
from
helps with both
Empoleon.
with fairy too, right? Because they're both fighting types. And
That's true.
that's
True.
another spot that's kind of sketchy. So again,
And also psychic too.
t-
Actually, that is kind of all three weaknesses are just
yeah,
the double fightings
yep,
without
yep, yep.
the right proper defensive switches.
So
One
yeah,
thing I would like to point out is that this team is 1 point away from being able to Terra both Annihilate and Gliscor, um, which is a scary concept to have. The other thing, while this is more funny than anything, so much power on this team is front-loaded in physical attackers,
That's true.
oh yeah,
which competitive could come up on Empoleon if
uh,
the opponent really is trying to do something.
I guess, but are you risking intimidate on like annihilate?
That's true.
All I'm saying is, it could come up. Whether this is a warning to everyone else, or Sync, please do this, it'd be the funniest thing ever. Who knows? But
But I mean, to your point, special attackers, Terapagos, potentially Como-O, and like Gengar, like your big
Empoleon.
offensive. He attacks on the special side. I'm not going to call him like an offensive
Yeah.
threat by any means, but
He's got 111. He's put some respect.
well,
on his
okay,
name.
no, wait a minute. Time out. I've let you talk me out of something here because you mentioned Water Pledge. We're not talking about doubles though. It has access to Surf, right?
Oh, true. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. I'm stupid.
So
Yeah.
it's
I was thinking it.
it's a little bit better than you're giving it credit for. And at 110, that's reasonable. So yes, it has Surf.
Yeah, never mind.
110 plus 1.
Now-
Because I've used Empoleon in VGC drafts, so I'm like, oh, it sucks to click Water Pledge like just by itself. Which I mean, even combined, the pledges are underwhelming. But I mean, it's just Skull without the secondary chance. But yeah, Surf is a significant upgrade for it.
Now with any mon that I'm or any move I'm talking about, you have to put an asterisk next to it because Smeargle exists. But he's got some decently thick mons and not really any wish or healing wish support. So maybe no, you wouldn't. Either way, no. I think I was about to say Zimmerworld might get wish, but like it's not something it typically does.
And it's not on there either. So,
So like barring Gliscor, you do run the risk of getting worn down.
yeah,
And then
yeah, that's very true.
And then in terms of like status, like it's kind of all loaded on Gengar for both Thunderwave and Will-O-Wisp. You have good knockoff, and then we talked about the burden of having to be the rapid spinner for Tropicos, but it probably wants to be most of the time, honestly. With base 85 getting a +1, that's reasonably fast.
Yeah, it's less of a burden and more of a, even if I'm the setup sweeper, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Now something,
because if you're only boosting your speed, 130 base special attack is massive still.
Yeah, it's true. Something I feel like we've talked about for a lot of teams, speaking of teams, is that there's not a lot of switch initiative on this team. I feel like a lot of teams have a ton. This one has 2 U-turners, which Annihilate, I guess, sometimes runs if he's like running like a choice set. And so you have
probably not
3. I mean, you have a little bit, not a ton.
That's true. Gliscor also probably is not clicking U-turn most of the time.
It was like protect and what? If you're doing facade set, maybe.
It really wants to be in, and when it's not in, it really wants to not take the chance of U-turning.
Okay.
I liked running U-turn. I ran it a few times when I had Gliscor because it's nice to like if they have like a water type or something that's like coming in, it's like a sort of mid-ground play where it's like you can react to what they've switched into you, and then you bring in something that beats that. But I don't know. Like you guys said, with the physical attackers and not a huge. I mean, there's type variety, but not a huge amount of like defensive variety. I feel like this is one of the weaker teams that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, not
to say it's bad.
No,
it's just that every team is good, I think, but I think it's on the weaker end.
It could definitely be patched up, and like you mentioned earlier, I think the fighting type with those weaknesses, you either make them both Terra or you swap out one of them with something else, some other kind of power, and you kind of get rid of a lot of those shared weaknesses, psychic, flying, fairy. So yeah. All right. Guess it's my turn here. East side inboards. So let's see. Round 1. What did we grab round 1? I think it was Walking Wake, actually, which has been notably swapped out for Roaring Moon at this point. They both wanted to do a Sun team. So we have the Torkoal in this case. He really wanted the Ninetales. And I think this team needed it more, especially when it had Wake, because Bolt and Wake are decently tanky, and you can get that Healing Wish off and just give them new life. But that's spilled milk. You got Torkoal. Raging Bolt, I think he did make it a Terra Captain. Review that. It is terrifying. It's strong. It has a priority move. And you just make it whatever Terra you need that week. I mean, I think oftentimes you'll probably be something like Fairy, but this mon's going to be is bread and butter all season. Definitely, I think the best mon on his team.
I hope it's not a case where we've had it a few times where Raging Bolt gets drafted, never brought.
I think that's impossible
case.
with this team. I think your whole point is to enable the Sun Mons here. So we have a bunch. Roaring Moon, I don't think anybody's had him on a team with Sun yet. Actually, that might not be true. Did Canoe have it in the season 5, maybe, with Sun? I know he had Sun with a lot of the Protomons, but either way, Moon great.
Didn't you have Roaring Moon?
I've had it twice, but not with Sun.
Well, in season 5, didn't you have it?
I had it in 5. I didn't have it in 3, which is when I had Ninetales and.
Well, you said Canoe had it in season 5.
Oh, you're right. So he didn't. Okay, yeah. So this mod,
had it.
We haven't seen this mod on a Sun team. Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. We have not seen this mod on a Sun team yet. So I mean, that really could unlock a lot of potential for this mod. Mod's already great, obviously. And once it got knockoff, I mean, it was good before that, but once it got knockoff, it just really opened the door for this mod.
Yeah.
Terrifying. U-turn. You're gonna get the free. You don't have to run boost energy on this team. So, I mean, really, a big key point of this team is to preserve Torkoal. And he did make it a secondary Terra Captain. You probably don't want to have to click that button. You want to save that Raging Bolt. So, we'll probably see this with, like, Boots. Just so it can come in, maybe take an offensive hit, on the physical side. But more importantly, get that Sun back up. The burden of being a Rapid Spinner has been shared. So, Excadrill is also a Rapid Spinner here. You have Defog on Corviknight. And to be fair, he doesn't set up a lot of hazards, so Defog's a little bit, you don't regret having to click that button near as much. The Rapid Spinners are also the Rock Setters, so they may split.
Well, he does have the next guy is it's not.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's true. That's true. But you also mentioned earlier that he just never gets up spikes, right? So
yeah, he
you have to land the ceaseless edge. But yes, you're right. That is an option. You can just lead. There's a lot of interesting leads he can do here, right? So he can lead, get the sun up. He can lead Raging Bolt and do funny things like Drake your Meteor with what is the not red card, but
Eject pack.
eject pack. You can just tear a dragon, Draco Meteor, eject pack, and just like kill something. You can do focus sash lead with samurai and do the traditional like I'm gonna try to get up as many layers of spikes as I can. Now that said, I don't see.
Torkoal can do the eject pack too, by the way,
It's-
with overheat as well.
Something to note is this team does not have a ghost type, so barring Terra, they're not blocking any spins from happening here. That said, the Namorous can do the very funny thing of getting its evasion raised if it switches into a defog. Oh, let's see. So then we have Iron Moth, which is the Futuremon here that kind of doesn't blend in with his friends, but he can absorb toxic spikes, which I guess Venusaur already kind of does for its team. Obviously, it gets a huge damage boost in the sun, and it is his second fastest mon, barring any boost. An offensive monster with a good flexible move kit, which is great for draft. He did switch to Namorous. He did have the turtle at one point. So I guess he opted to have a little bit more speed and offense, which I agree. I mean, you got a lot of tanky mons, Corviknight, Torkoal. I'm saying that out loud, but now I'm realizing like doesn't really have like a special tank outside the fact that like some mons are just naturally tanky in general.
Yeah, like Corviknight.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. Is Corviknight especially tanky? I guess it's decent. This is decent.
Yeah,
I was,
it's a good in both.
Yeah.
It's just sort of tanky in general. Not like incredible in either one, but pretty good in both. Same with Roaring Moon, actually. Just 105 into 100.
Yeah, same thing with Moth. But that said, though, you might feel a little bit more free to press special buttons into this team because Corviknight's obviously going to soak up physical ones and Torkoal to that same vein. So we talked about the removal between all three of these mons here. We know what Torkoal does. Venusaur. Levani also gets chlorophyll, so you got technically two chlorophyll mons. Levani, though, also offering a different type of speed control with sticky webs. Venusaur just being a chlorophyll offensive threat. I mean, you can throw a life orb on that thing, and it's going to hit hard. Sludge Bomb, you get Weather Ball for some coverage. You can click the Solar Beam button if you really want to. Just a real solid Sunmon. But I mean, overall, I mean, this what you see is what you get, right? This is a tried and true sun, or not tried and true. It is a dedicated sun team. Like it wants the sun up all the time. So I think a lot of the goals of teams playing against this is to have plenty of mons that can click up other weather buttons. Boy, that was hard. And try to cause some kind of disruption for them. But being a sun team, you do have natural weaknesses to ground and rock, right? And we look down the type chart here. I mean, he does have a couple of flyers that can kind of mitigate the ground a little bit. But rock, you know, you're relying on Excadrill, which does 4 times resist, but not the bulkiest of mons. In terms of utility, you know, I'm looking over here at the box. It feels like this box is not very filled out. Like I feel like generally speaking, we usually see like a lot of these columns have multiple. I mean, you see a lot of taunt and a decent amount of knockoff. But like overall, like
I feel like this is probably the closest thing we've had so far to a hyper offense team where you don't really care too much about, you know,
tanking.
Spreading stat. You do care about the hazards, yeah, but you don't care too much about like spreading Thunder Wave or stuff like that. You'd really just want to maybe get a layer of spikes up with Ceaseless Edge because there's 0 opportunity cost for that. Maybe get some rocks up with Torkoal as you lead it to get your sun up, and then just take 6 KOs. Is like I think what a lot of your game plan is going to come to.
And that does bring up something else in terms of like enabling that. Because I know he wanted the Ninetales for like the Healing Wish support with the sun. Him switching to the other Namorous gives him more likely, because the other one was so slow, he has a faster option to click that Healing Wish button and maybe get the recharge on Moon or Bolt to kind of like clean up a game.
As well as I just checked, it does also get Weather Ball too, which is nice because fairy types usually struggle to hit steel types. So this one has. Well, I guess this one had.
I think all the genies actually get Weather Ball. Now that I'm thinking about it, which makes sense, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Trey, you've been quiet. What you got?
Yeah, I think Connor brought up a really strong point. This team has so many Pokemon on it. There's like 4.5 if you really, really want to count Venusaur. Where it's like, if this Pokemon just like gets in at a favorable time, it can just pick up 6 KOs by itself. This team is so strong offensively. There's a lot of offensive coverage as well.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, despite the fact that it's not the most bulky team, if you look at the overall weaknesses, there's I think more green here than we've seen than almost every other team.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even sacrificing like defensive coverage, which is not really expected from a Sun team.
Well, and I do want to be fair in that with that comment though. You see a lot of green because you have 2 dragons and you have 2 steel types.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, but they still resist a lot.
They do.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, that was what the premier team in Gen 5 was, just like 4 drag and mag, right? Because you have dragon types that are like almost unresisted,
Well,
and then you throw magnetism on there to beat the steel
and
types.
look what happened. Now we have fairy typing.
Yeah. Well, the steel types beat that now.
Yeah,
Magnetism would beat that
that's
anyway.
fair. That's rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Got it.
With Iron Moth and Excadrill, the fairies are thankfully kept in check, because otherwise Bolt, Moon,
And Venusaur too.
Oh, and Venusaur, yeah.
He's got a lot of fairy resist.
Fairy.
He has a lot of resist. Yeah.
He has a lot of answers for a lot of things.
Yeah, just like maybe
I
2
like
types.
that. This team there's not really like a glass cannon on this team. Like all like the sweepers are at least. I mean, I guess physically Moth is kind of like the one, and X-Girl's good HP, but the other stats are not great. But like I feel like all the sweepers on this team could reasonably take like maybe not 2 hits, but 1 hit, right? And then it's like, whereas like something like the Weavile that we just talked about, he takes a hit and he's just dead. But these guys can soak a hit, which means it's easier to get them in, but also it's harder to revenge kill them with like a just random sucker punch or something. They'll be able to take like 1.
I was gonna make
I think that's
a funny joke about Chlorophyll sweeping Levani, but then I realized she has 80 in her defenses, and I'm like, you know what? That's actually not even bad.
He is bulkier than her Enamorous normal.
Yeah.
that actually is probably the frailest Pokemon.
Well, it just says 2 4x weaknesses. It's just a terrible typing, but I mean.
Well, I was talking about the Enamorous.
Oh no, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but the Levani typing wise, that holds it back a lot. But it is just bulkier across the board than Enamorous by 1 point specially.
Levani is one of those like sticky webbers, right? That you want to kind of believe in because like the stats are kind of in the right spot. Like Galvantula is kind of another one like that, and Rabombi. But I don't know.
Rabombi, hey, don't lump Rabombi in there. Rabombi, I think is actually.
Oh, whoa! Are you hating on
Galvantula?
Galvantula? Galvantula is fantastic.
No, I love Galvantula.
And when I got
but Rabombi, 124 speed is like very solid.
And definitely put some respect to my my Terra Captain Vikavolt from season 3.
That guy was solid.
Like you said, immunities with Terra.
Mm-hmm. I like this team. I feel like it's either gonna win hard or lose hard.
It's gonna be a faster game.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much in between here. Because you are lacking in like there's no like regenerator switching. It really is just get your sun up and start taking KOs.
Yep, no, that's a good point, and that's honestly a style that I haven't like explored too much myself. Like I typically go for balance or some level of tanks in the middle. But just having like getting those mons that can help you set up and just like your whole goal is just like, all right, I want to sweep, like, and that's what this team is. So yeah, fast games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then last but not least, Winterville Weavile. Y'all can rock paper scissors for who gets to lead this one because this is the last one.
I think you should take this one, Gliss, because I have no idea what Zarude does as a VGC player.
Okay, so you're putting the onus on me. Okay. Good old Fred. This team, Zarude, yeah. So Zarude, it kind of just gets a very large amount of great supporting moves. Jungle healing is a fantastic move. It heals. Let me double check.
It does status and like
I've never seen this
quarter.
Pokemon in my
I think it's
life.
status and a
Pretty sure
quarter.
it heals
I think
status as well. Yeah,
it does. It
heal
does.
status.
But it's not like half health. I think it's like a quarter.
It has a surprisingly competent way of taking teams out. It has for like setup sweeping because it has knockoff. It has Trailblaze to boost its already good 105 speed. And if you just want to run Choice Scarf, you have options like Power Whip. It gets close combat and U-turn. So it has a lot of strong offensive moves in the case of you're like, I need something to just end a game or have great coverage. And also provides wonderful moves defensively and supportively, like jungle healing, encore. It gets taunt, I believe.
Which it can
It
take
gets
advantage of now that it can get rid of its awful defensive typing.
Yeah.
absolutely. Really, really nice that it's able to just get rid of that.
Because you see the 105
Uh,
defense and the 95 special defense, and 105 HP. That's a respectable bulk.
yeah. Next up, we have the best spin blocker in the game, which is incredibly funny that he took this from everyone else. Goldango. Uh, Also incredibly potent wall breaker, special sweeper,
Trick.
uh, trick. It for stall breaking. It does a lot. You, I know he was considering getting more hazard stacking stuff, but at the same time, with Pokemon 2 down from now and Glamora, he
Yeah, I was about to
already
say the
has
best hazard compression of all time, maybe.
Yeah, so it's like the consideration for another hazard mon was there, but you just have Glamora, so you get the hazard stack all in one Pokemon and then keep it up successfully with Goldango.
He also grabbed the next two mons. He essentially grabbed the two mons that can actually get around Goldango, barring like barring like wheezing, right? But yeah,
Sure did. Cinderace, no court change for you. Incredibly disgusting offensive, like physical wall breaker. One of I'd say probably the premier ones actually in the format without having to actively click a boosting move. Pyro Ball does so much damage. You also get to have quick U-turn to act as a pivot, so this thing can revenge kill and get out just like that. He's probably not clicking court change as much in these matchups because he's
Yeah.
probably setting up better hazard layers than his opponent.
Yeah, and he probably wants to just make his opponent not click court change.
worst
really.
case,
Yeah,
worst
exactly.
case, it's a speed demon on his team that again, what we talked about before, forces some investments.
Yeah, it's his fastest Pokemon, and someone like Zarude does want a lot of fast Pokemon on their side. Just because 105 is a really strong speed, but you do want something super fast to pick off other Pokemon that Zarude does struggle with. And Cinderace, typing wise, does that really well. Uh, Next up, we have the Hazard Demon, Glamora, uh, spinner that works against Goldango, because he may face another Goldango, who knows.
Wait, no, it
Uh,
doesn't, because Goldango's immune to poison, right?
Ooh, let me tell
Well,
you about
corrosion, yeah.
corrosion.
No, corrosion doesn't. Corrosion doesn't hit poison
Yeah,
types.
no, it allows you
Does
to
it?
hit. It allows you to hit poison types and steel types
Wait,
with poison.
wait, no,
moves.
yes.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. Right? I thought it was just toxic.
Is it?
Is it? Maybe you're right.
This
Maybe
Pokemon-
you're right. I could be corrected.
I've been lied to by somebody. Actually, this Pokemon can poison or badly poison a Pokemon regardless of its typing. I see.
Yeah, I don't think Mortal Spin
No,
works.
Mortal Spin always poisons though. So I don't know.
Uh, that's a question Google can answer. Regardless, outside of being incredibly strong as a spinner,
Doesn't
with
matter.
Mortal
It's on the
Spin,
team with Goldigo, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
there he could face another Goldango team. There's two.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Uh,
You're right.
yeah.
Best hazard stacker, or not best because that's Tinglu. One of the most versatile hazard stackers with toxic debris plus its move pool. Great typing. It picks up T spikes as well. You can run some very funny wall breaker sets or setup sweeper sets with meteor beam plus mental herb. All around provides really strong utility and some surprise factor TM. Next up, we're getting into pivots, which is very nice to have in tandem with Cinderace and Zarude. Alamomola, Regenerator, we got the big fish. We got our water type. He did make no. This one is not the Terra Captain. This was I think that was in a planning phase. Yeah, flip turn, wish, do your thing, girl. It gets. Does it still get knocked off in this generation?
I probably.
I think so. I mean,
I
not
think
gonna be in a TM.
that's one of the
everything
moves
gets
that
it, so.
Yeah.
Pretty certain it does. I had to play against that mon in prep all.
Oh
the
no, it
time.
does not.
It
Wow.
does not. Okay.
Really?
I was
Oh.
like, I'm not positive on that one. Let me double check. Also,
Well, I was about to say,
Stealing
'cause
Wish.
it is still a TM, so it's just they just decided to not give it to Alamomola.
I guess I decided those floppy hand fins couldn't slap.
Yeah, don't count hands anymore.
Yeah, it's the big wall. It's the big fish. Next
And
up we got
Wish is huge. That's the highest HP stat Wish we've
It
seen
is, but his
yet.
team's not
yeah.
like crazy bulky. I mean, like Golden Go's probably going to
Yeah,
appreciate it the most here, but
but
um,
Golden can recover for itself too.
but he
So
also, and I'll let Trey transition into this, but I mean, outside of regular Wish,
Alamomola has Healing Wish. And speaking of Healing Wish, Mesprit has Healing Wish. He has 2 Healing Wishes on this team. Which is good because there is a fair amount of bulk on this team. There's actually so much healing on this team. Zarude has healing. You have Wish. You have 2 Healing Wish. You have Comfey, which we'll get to. Mesprit, though, right now, one of the best Healing Wish mons in the game. It does serve as another pivot and support mon. With between U-turn, it gets supporting moves like Thunder Wave. It gets Encore. It gets. I think it still has rocks.
yeah,
Which is
it
kind of
does.
probably
crazy.
It does.
Azelf gets him, I think.
It
Yeah.
does. All three of them get it, I think. I think more importantly, though, is it has Levitate for this team.
Yes, exactly. There is a little bit of a ground problem, especially if you tear a Zarude into something that doesn't resist ground.
Mhm.
You lose
Oh
that.
yeah.
So Mesprit really provides a strong solution to that. Uh, on top of being incredibly bulky itself. So he's really going to have to play around this for a lot of his ground weaknesses. Especially because this team doesn't get rid of ground Pokemon all that too well outside of Zarude.
That actually is true. Yeah, like it's just
So
Zarude.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's
his
just
water
Zarude.
type doesn't is not really doing the numbers. Hmm.
Yeah, Momoa puts no pressure on ground types. That waterfall is going to be hitting though, I guess. But yeah, so
Mesprit.
Well,
Mesprit is
hang
going to
on.
be
If it's a physical ground type, you do have Scald still, but if it's a special ground type, Womp Womp.
that's very true. That's very true. It's gonna donk that Tusk. That's what we're hearing here. Yeah, Mesprit incredibly so much good utility, both in ability and in moves for this
You
team.
can also make it offensive. I mean, it's got Bolt Beam, you got Calm Mind. It's got decent stats.
It does.
hmm
It also has the signature move that is worse than the other psychic moves.
I forget what it is.
Especially
It's
it has
plus
a
one special attack,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
but it's
But
only
at this
90% accuracy. So
it's
it's
90%
Ooh.
accuracy, and this Pokemon also gets access to Psychic Noise, which is that funny little anti-healing move that you probably want to bring.
Yep.
Um, we mentioned Great Tusk, so now we're going to current day Tusk in Dongfang.
regular Tusk,
Yeah, I wouldn't even call
average
this move
Tusk,
regular.
Flesh,
There we go,
fleshy
average
treads.
Tusk. Ugh.
flesh treads, and
Um,
average Tusk.
a second part of your core for removing hazards without getting rid of them yourself, or getting rid of your own rather.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Patrick, you should speak more on
I've
Pokemon.
gotten this Pokemon's helped me get across the finish line twice now. But yes, Rapid Spinner, you got the sturdy to guarantee it. You typically like to run heavy duties on to keep your sturdy preserved because sometimes you just want to guarantee something. You got a nice little priority Ice Shard that people like to forget about, which is great. You got knockoff just like the other elephants, Ice Spinner. As a surprisingly deep move pool, I think it's got like Play Rough and a few other things. Just a
Is
lot.
Sandvale banned? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, evasion type
Okay,
stuff is bad.
so it has to be sturdy.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it does a lot of little things compact into one. Obviously, he can be abused for his slow speed, but he can come in, get the job done, and you continue with the game. Typically, you do full HP, and then you decide if you want to do max attack or if you want to throw a little bolt somewhere else.
Mhm.
Great summary. Next up we got Slitherwing. This Pokemon is interesting. It's an incredibly strong breaker for physical type moves. On top of it has a little sneaky specially defensive set that a lot of people run with like AV.
Hmm.
So
Oh, I could see it.
yeah, it's an interesting typing for this team to have that as well because if he runs into specifically this is his other ground type answer
I was
quote
about to say
unquote.
it's a ground resist. Yeah.
It's a ground resist, so while its defense isn't fantastic, you can just like AV max bulk defense and try and put up something against offensive ground threats and just hope you chip it down.
And like we said, you do have like crazy good healing with like Alamola too. So
Absolutely.
it's like
Yep.
it can heal back, and it's also got Leech Life. So like you could potentially win a War of Attrition between Leech Life and Wish.
Yeah, it has just enough to do a defensive set as well as click real big move with choice band offensive, or
Mhm.
it even poses a threat with Scarf because 81 Scarfed is it's not burning the barn down, but it's good enough.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Especially
a
for some of the slower teams.
it was a Terra
Yeah,
Captain at one point. I think it lost that.
it did
Zarud
lose
and
that.
Comfey are currently the Terra Captains. Which Zarud eating
Yes.
19 points of your 28 budget. So
Yeah. But it has to be right. That's the only thing that makes Zarude
yeah,
like good is
yep,
that it
yep.
can be a Terra Captain.
Well, it makes it a ton better, right? Because I mean, again, those defensive
Yeah.
sets are wasted on a grass dark typing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When U-turn's probably the best move in the game.
Mm-hmm.
One of them.
it's so good. Speaking of Terra Captains, Comfey, the one that stole it from Slitherwing. This Pokemon, this Pokemon as a Terra Captain is incredibly powerful. It's in quote unquote lower power formats because it's a UU Pokemon. It is a incredibly strong offensive setup mon with Calm Mind. You get the healing off of Triage Draining Kiss as well with Life Orb. So you negate your own chip damage off of your Life Orb,
Mm.
as well as being able to be a little more greedy in setting up Calm Minds because it doesn't matter if the Pokemon's faster, you're getting a plus the Draining Kiss off, so you're able to click and be more greedy with your setup. This Pokemon, it has the potential to be a special wall. This Pokemon is going to set up every time. If this thing isn't clicking Calm Mind Draining Kiss, I would be surprised.
So
It
That's probably
breaks.
all it really does, right? In singles, because like there's no need for. I mean, you can't even use it for the main role I know it for is like support, which is just non-existent here. So that's like the premier role. Does it get defog anymore? It probably lost that,
I
right?
don't think it has it. I would be
It,
surprised.
no, it does
Yeah.
not.
So it's like the main thing it's doing is setting up,
That
right?
that that's
Yeah.
a well. I was about to. He's got two other forms of hazard removal, so it's not a huge deal. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, defog not getting, losing defog as well is the one you're willing to lose because then you don't have to get rid of your own Glamora setup
Yeah, true.
hazards.
yeah.
And he
Another
has
thing,
great ways of removing too.
Hmm.
absolutely. Comfey is notably his third fastest Pokemon.
Yeah. That was.
Usually you'd be want a little more speed, especially paired with Zarude, for like fast offensive pivots and breakers. But this Pokemon can serve as a interesting pivot with utility moves. It gets Encore, it gets Knockoff, it gets Taunt, it gets U-Turn. There's a lot of things it can do in matchups where it's probably not sweeping to try and help support the team.
It's true. Not that
And
this is really relevant in singles, but I know it's one of the fun mons that does get both Trick Room and Tailwind
it
from
sure does.
VGC. But I don't. I mean, I guess that could help you for like a few turns, but I don't think that's gonna be run that often.
It notably it doesn't get both screens, but it does get access to light screen as well. We haven't talked about screens too terribly much this draft,
True.
which
I didn't even put it up there on
Well,
the thing.
I don't think any prankster screensetters have been taken, or any
I,
Ninetales Alola was not taken either. I don't think.
no, that's
yeah,
true. And we also didn't get. Yeah, Grim wasn't taken. I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
They're sporadic. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well,
But
we're not in Chilla's pool yet.
well, yeah, that's true. We'll see how many ice types he gets.
true. The onus of that probably falls on me for not bringing it up with Rotom way earlier. But
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, light screens are really good in this format, especially with this bulky team. But I'm gonna push past that to the other notorious breaker on this team, Porygon
Yeah.
Z. This Pokemon clicks normal moves really, really strong, and things go out. I didn't realize it was base 90 speed. That's actually better than I thought it was for being a Porygon.
I didn't realize it was 5 points too. That feels like
that could have
kinda
been an
crazy.
interesting Terra Captain, right? Because like I know you lose
Yeah.
the adaptability in your
Well-
normal moves, but you gain it on whatever you
Yeah.
go to. So
Yeah, adaptability is really awkward with Terra.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm clicking Terra Normal Terra Blast, or it.
Well,
Is
the
it-
thing
is
about
that-
that is you don't actually.
Actually.
It's such diminishing returns. You only get like a 5% boost or something on with the Terra Normal.
Oh, really?
It's
Oh,
so
okay.
weird.
Huh.
It's so diminishing. It's like I've used Basket Legion enough to know that if you're running adaptability,
You're not tearing.
you just you probably don't Terra
Oh,
unless you
okay.
need a defensive. But then again, defensive Terra just sucks too with adaptability because you lose it.
Well, and
Like you get weaker for Terraing.
it's got pretty average defensive stats too, so that's kind of neither here nor there for Porygon. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Porygon, so
And-
you might want to Terra Ghost and get a fighting immunity, and then also get a Shadow Ball.
the-
But yeah.
well,
True.
yeah, you do have the best
Outside
ghost. but-
of outside of
Yeah, you do.
Terra
That's true.
adaptability for it, you also just have really good coverage. This thing gets Bolt Beam.
Yeah.
Mhm. Two
Yeah.
Ball Beamers on his team. Nice.
Yeah, it gets Bolt Beam. It has Recover as well for its own healing because this team just needed more healing. Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, it gets Psy Shock, it gets a couple different psychic moves. It's really good coverage, and it will be blowing through a ton of physical wall Pokemon.
Are you bringing Psychic Noise against this team, Trey?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does Psychic Noise prevent Healing Wish?
If they switch, so yes and no, right? So like, say you're a Lomomola, and they do Psychic Noise, it's going to affect the Lomomola, and then he switches out, and then whatever comes in is going to get the Wish. So no, it's not.
No, healing, like Healing Wish.
Oh, the move Healing Wish.
Yeah.
No, because when the Mon Healing Wish is after turn, right? So the Mon that comes in.
Well, no, but Psychic Noise prevents you from clicking Healing.
I think it's
moves,
only the
right?
Mon that gets hit. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Using it, yes, it would stop that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, misunderstood.
Yeah. Because I know if you're affected by Psychic Noise, you can't even click like Drain Punch or Giga
You're
Drain.
right.
Like it just
You're right.
removes it from your option to click.
Mhm.
I didn't know if Healing Wish counts as a healing move.
It does
Because it is sort
does.
of like a weird move that it feels like wouldn't get boosted by like Triage or something. Because Triage also doesn't boost like Leech Seed and like sort of healing adjacent moves.
Are you sure? Are you sure it doesn't boost Leech Seed? I thought Comfey got priority Leech Seed or something like that.
It gets Leech Seed, but not priority Leech Seed.
Okay.
I remember because Colin is a big Comfy fan.
It looks like a Colin Mon. I could see that.
It doesn't affect Pollen Puff either, which is like the worst thing for Comfey because that would actually be so solid.
I'm glad.
BBC at least.
I'm glad you brought it up earlier, Trey, because it's really hypocritical for me to bring it up, especially after my season 3 team. But this team does lack a lot of speed. You hit 100 at the third mon, and then after that, you're kind of in those middling 80s and 90s. So speed might be a factor this team has to worry about. Obviously, it's not the end of the world. I don't even remember what was my fastest mod on that team. I don't even know. It was a slow team. It wasn't intended to be, but it was.
Wait, that was your Walking
Season
Wake
3,
team, right?
yeah. Was Wake the fastest one?
So,
Oh no.
yeah, 119 is. Well, I mean,
No,
119.
Ogerpon was on that. So Wake
Oh,
Wake
110.
is 9. Wake is 109.
Oh, 109, 109. Yeah, right.
I think my fastest mod
But
was 110.
he gets super fast when he's in the sun.
If Wake was 119, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's faster than that in the sun.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, notice the idea how you had to put in the sun there instead of getting the special attack boost in the sun.
Well, you know,
And now
I
if
feel
he
like the
was
speed boost is.
119,
Yeah, that is true. That's true. Well, then you'd have to lower the
It-
EVs, which according to Colin, is the worst thing that a
I
Pokemon can ever have to
definitely
do.
screwed that up the first time. In fact, it was against Fred in regular season, and I like didn't even notice that I got the wrong speed buff against the Garchomp, and then I got outsped. I'm like, I might have lost. I didn't, but I really thought that was the end. So I learned my lesson the hard way.
244.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like a last minute change too, and then I just didn't have testing with the new IVs, so I just didn't even notice it. But anyways, we're talking about the wrong team here. Let's see. In terms of typings, what are we looking at here? Do we have any? I guess
Ground is the big one.
Ground is the big one.
yeah. Well, yeah. Mesprit helps a bit, but let's see.
Like especially
Ground-
when the Zorutera's out of grass typing.
Yeah, ground is one of the reasons ground is so big is because like you want to bring Goldango, Cinderace, and Clamora like every.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Which then you're like, okay, well now I want to bring Mesprit every game, and like I want to bring my Regenerator every game, So like that's something to
So that's
think.
the team.
And you're not bringing Zaroots, and then it's like, okay, am I bringing these 6 Mons every week? And yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you might have to. I mean, I do agree that those are probably the best 6, and then I think maybe one of them can switch out for like Dawn Fan.
I'm
Dawn
glad.
Fan mostly, but
I'm glad you
some
agree
of the
that
other
the
ones,
6 most expensive Mons are the best 6.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, generally speaking, that's how it's gonna go, right?
It's here and get it. Smoking got it right. Yeah, it's just a situation where it's like, man, I want to bring these Pokemon all the time, and I feel bad about bringing my others, but my others are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Porygon Z does so much. Slitherwing can do so much, but it's like, who do I get rid of?
I think Cinderace is the most like swappable out, because at the very least he's done his job of making your opponent investments be threatened. And like you kind of, again, you don't really want to. You're doing all these hazards with Glamour. Do you really want to have to court change? So I think that's probably the one that gets left behind the most out of those 6.
And plus, it does also remove one of the ground weaks when
Yep.
like of all the types, I feel like ground is one of
It's
the
hard.
maybe top 3 worst types.
Well, it's because it's like
because
ice and ground have
you
like
look
5
at-
things they're super effective on, so it's like really
Yeah.
hard to dodge a weakness to those.
and I mean, you look at the pool. We've talked about 3 teams where the most expensive and their first pick Pokemon was a ground type, because we had Great Tusk Treads and Garchomp all in this pool alone, right? There's going to be another one
Well,
too,
and that's going to
where
happen.
There's another
again.
Great Tusk
It's gonna
Treads
It's going to
and
happen
Garchomp.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and 2 Landorus also both picked, and a Gliscor. Every team actually, except for the Eastside Embers, has a ground type like in their top 3
Well,
most
and
expensive.
and this
Pokemon.
one too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they're all been taken by the time he gets the last pick,
yeah.
probably.
In fact, I think the Dawn Fan was a post draft pickup, and I think
It was.
Mhm.
well, he did have Clodsire there at one point, which I think was probably inspired by Colin picking up Regieleki and him going, "Oh, I don't have a ground type." But
It was also probably I'm clicking hazards and you can't stop me button.
maybe.
Yeah, with Golden Go, because Clodsire is another roll compression one, but you already have the best one ever.
Yeah, it was a bit redundant with like Glamour and stuff. Again, I think it was just I don't have electric immunity. But
But now he's got Electric Community that also removes hazards, which is good, without deleting his own.
Yep.
No, I think Donphan is definitely the correct pickup for this team.
No, great.
Well, considering what was left. Obviously, the correct pickup would be Tusk or Treads, probably
Well.
Tusk, but
Didn't even
that's
have the
not
opportunity.
available. Yeah,
Literally gone around 3. Or
gone around
pick
2
3, rather.
actually.
Pick 3. It was
2 and 3. Yeah.
Valiant Tusk Treads. He
Yep,
had
yep,
no
yep.
choice.
Yeah.
Well, anybody have anything else they want to point out about this team? Or are we gonna
Nope.
wrap it up?
I think we've said everything I have to say.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's the first pool. We'll have the other draft here not tomorrow night, but the night after, Friday night. And we'll be throwing out another team analysis at that point. I'll probably have Colin and Fred join me for that one, since they're not in that pool. But thank you both for joining me and going over these teams.
Absolutely.
All right. Until next time. Cool. All right. Well, that was fun. Let me get out of full screen mode here. All right, I'm going to take a shower and get ready for bed, but thank you both again. Oh, I
Recorded
I
the,
I just
welcome
I,
back.
I hit the wrong button.
We said that. We're like, he left. He's out.
You know,
We yapped too
the
much. He
worst
left.
part is now I have to go and trim the end of my video.